Back in my bag, yo. Conscious. ISO. Diamond. Back in my bag and I gotta brag, I do this shit for real. When we was down and we had nothing, we had to share a meal. We put the shit in overdrive with no steering wheel. Shorty throw that thing back in a pair of heels. Yeah, she be riding on that thing like a Ferris wheel. Yeah, I love them dark skin, brown skin, caramel. You know I had to bring it to the hood like she Karen Civil. When she keep on turning head, cause when she woke that thing jiggle.
And we going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back flow, we back again so highly. This that back in my back flow, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back flow, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back flow. Back in my, back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, I'm back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, this is my, back in my bag flow.
Back again, yeah, we keep on stacking it, what's happening? Everything in Gucci got me feeling like I'm dapper then. Life has been a movie, yeah, so shout out to the cameraman. Pull up to the scene, it's going down like an avalanche.
Steady going up like a travel plan. Homer Simpson face, lucky power plant. Yeah, I'm off that dope, like I'm back again to Vizzy. At the Millies, out on Club Hurst. Give the word if it's a cinch, Lord forgive me. Still having motion, dog, so why would I slow it? Make it rain on them, bust a band, then you throw it. We was steady having it, even at our lowest. High speed road runner, keep my motor going.
Hey, people feel away, but they don't show it. Gotta watch the people that's around you, that you grow it. They be coming around you with some plans to steal your moment. Soon as I bust a nut, she be like, baby, where you going? Never slowing down, it's enough to go around. Yeah, you probably knew it's then, but really you don't know it's now. Niggas love to show and tell, but all my niggas know me well. Always either chase a dream or go to jail, but none of us ain't
going
going
back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back flow, we back again so highly. This that back in my back flow, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back flow, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back flow. Back in my, back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my.
Going on, kids? I always forget to push my button. Hopefully when I push my button, y'all can hear me. And hopefully you can see me. Good to see everybody. Didn't mean to jump in too early. I just figured since we're kind of have a hard stop with said Stevie and Satisfaction that we would just get it on for those of you that are in here. Good to see everybody. I see Brother Marco, channel member. I see Ground Fog. I see my man Marcos, the man Gamma, channel member. Good to see you, brother. Happy Friday to you, my man. We got Mike Reese in the house. We've got my man Jim Miller, who is going to be responsible for a giveaway tonight, just so y'all know. Thank you, Jim Miller. We've got Brother Colby in the house. And we've got, let's see, as I scroll, Fed Harrison, the man, the myth, the legend, and a channel member. Good to see you, Fed. Fed / AKA Fed. I won't say your real name. I think everybody knows, but it's not for me to set it out, right? Crazy Roach, channel member. Good to see you. I saw you over in MCs. I was sitting back just listening, and I'll tell you, I love Metal Complex's interactions with people. What grates my nerves, and y'all probably think, Javon, your music grates my nerves, but it's the 80s arcade music. And I think it's because I was traumatized by those sounds in actual arcades as it ate my quarters. Addicted to Blades 2, welcome, welcome. But if y'all know who won, congratulations to them. I did not recognize the name, but that doesn't say a lot. My circle's kind of small. Todd Carr, welcome, brother. Good to see you, man. We got snow here, which is kind of cool. Gave me a day to do very little, just make some content. I don't call it content, some knife pontification. We'll call it that. Overview / pontification. And I actually don't have the knives over here that I have been pontificating on today. I have one of them, and I'll show it to you in a second because I'm actually smitten with it. I think it's a great knife. I think on the Kaiser end of a fixed blade, it's a little on the higher price range. But then when you see that it's 3V and it's Ultim, it makes sense to me. It made sense to me. I grabbed one off Amazon, and then Brother Lee Wolf gifted me a kickback on that, which was super nice. El Cap Addict, welcome, brother. Good to see you, man. El Cap Addict was patient with me. We had a mix up, and Let Me Get That was super cooperative and sent me some stuff back. I think it's the first time since I've had pirate ship that I've messed up a shipment. Because I try to get really, there's a caveat though. the knife that's being given away tonight is no longer available. And it is something that I never knew existed. And it's something that I really like. I want to do a short kind of overview on it. Maybe knives gone that are not here anymore. This is a Kaiser Seahorse. It was donated by Jim Miller. It's got thumb studs and a liner lock. The action is unbelievable. You can reverse flick it. You can thumb flick it. It is 9 CRV. I've not sharpened it because it's sharper than it could be. But these knives, before they sold out, I think they went for around $44, and actually Knife Center has some. So Knife Center, who I have no affiliation with, is the only place I could find that still has the Seahorse in stock. They're selling it for $44. When Kaiser was moving them out, they dropped it down to $26. But guys, I'm telling you, I've carried this knife. Jim sent several knives for me to pass along, and I've been carrying all of them. I'm going to probably do a little bit of little overview pontification on them. But this is a knife that, even though I hadn't been immersed in the budget knives, I thought I'd kind of kept up on what at least Kaiser, Civivi, Vosteed were doing. But this knife and the Vosteed that he sent slipped right under my radar. Great knife. I don't know if y'all knew this was available. Had anybody ever seen a Seahorse? Let's see something. Let me go to Knife Center real quick, which is something I never show. I don't ever go to Knife Center. Rarely. I've done business with Knife Center, thousands of dollars, a couple thousand maybe. They were one of my big early BIM and Blade HQ. Kaiser, let's see. And they just take so long to ship in comparative. And when I've called their customer service, I did not have a warm, fuzzy feeling. And it was probably the person I got. But this knife is still available for anybody that's interested in it. I'll just drop the link in. $44. I give it an absolute, when I review it, I'm going to say it's a great budget knife. For what it costs, for what you can get on Amazon, I would much rather have this nice G10 reversible clip. I mean, the only thing I guess that's even less than awesome is the blade steel. And to me, if you go and research it, I don't have a problem with 9CR18 MOV for what I use a knife for. And I don't mind sharpening it. So, yeah, I'm going to drop this link in because this will be the knife that will be given away tonight. Let's drop that in here. Boom. And that's the only place I could find it. Believe me, if I could have found another link, I would have gladly shared another link. Marco, I think I said hey to you, brother, but if not, hey again. Crazy Roach, hey again. I think I said not only hello, but I think I said that we bumped into each other at MC's. But see, the arcade music's got me all jacked up. I saw Paul Mills. I didn't get a chance to say hey to him because he moved by so quick, and I wasn't 100% sure if Paul Mills, he can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. He might not have been in MC's. It may have been Paul Might. I'm not sure. I just saw it scroll towards the top when I looked up. Good to see you, Paul. Hey, look what I'm carrying today. Well, you can't. I guess you can see it. Let me drop this. The clip really loves my pants. This is a trade Paul Mills and I put together, and this is a knife I have never experienced. It's a Evo Typhoon Sharp by Design, and I had a Mini Tempest that I think when I traded it with Paul, and it was a great little knife. This knife feels fantastic, and it's got things that I like about it, where it's going to make it a user. I've been carrying it since I got it. Have not put an edge on it yet because it hasn't needed one, but I'm just going to use this knife and really appreciate it. But the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a disassembly on it to find out what size skiffs it uses, but to learn what's going on with this lock bar insert. And I know that Brian Nadeau does some interesting things with tunable detents, but something different is going on inside of here. And I'm kind of wanting to figure it out what it is. Plus, I like taking my knives apart and filming them so that people can watch those videos when I put them out. Disassemblies. I did a scale swap on a bug out using a tool that you can get either from Justin, OCD, EDC, or you can get it on Etsy if you want a metal one. A really easy way to swap scales out using that tool. But they get very few views. But the reason I put them out there is because when I first started taking knives apart, I would go search out those kind of videos, right? Because you watch somebody do it, you kind of replicate what they do. And that helped me learn what parts were. When I first started taking knives apart and like a stop pin would fall out on my mat, of course, and something else would fall out, I wouldn't necessarily know what those parts were, because I didn't know the basics of knife anatomy, I guess you'd say. So I don't urge you guys to tweak with all your knives, but don't be nervous, because one of the things I want to do to the Typhoon, and I do this to all my knives, is I try to take them apart at least every 6 months, clean them up real good, get any just grease and grime out of there, re-lube them, put them back together, and I just enjoy having them apart for just a little while. I enjoy tinkering with them, just like I enjoy sharpening, because I'm a weirdo. Um, for a lot of people like to go out and, feather stick, which I do with fixed blades. I love chopping stuff up, but I also like sharpening, maintaining, taking knives apart, putting skiff bearings in them. I know a lot of people think that's kind of and I'm not going to argue that it's not, but I look at the simple surface area that you gain with the extra ceramic balls and the same size bearing, and the fact that there's such a, to me, a economical investment to really tweak out your knife. For example, so this is my Civivi Baby Banter. I think I've shown you guys this. It doesn't drop shut, right? It's a kind of a push it close kind of little knife, because I went to Skiff's website, and for about $8, you can buy thick washers. So you can buy washers that will replace bearings in any knife that they sell bearings for. So I've got some for my McNeese. It ran great on washers. It's amazing how different, even though it doesn't have the fluid like action, just running on a phosphorus bronze washer, things like that for me are fun. I say I do it for science just to check it out, but I really do. I enjoy it. I enjoy setting up my camera. I enjoy going in there and just taking it apart. And a lot of times it's a train wreck. What's up, Burnt Relic? And those videos, ironically, get a lot more views. So if you ever see a thumbnail where I've done a disassembly and you see a little cartoon of a school bus with smoke and fire coming out of it and the kids screaming, you'll know that that's one where I struggled. I've not yet, knock on wood, not completed and gotten one back together. I have taken them apart and not been able to get the bearings to work. What's up, Paul Mike? Be Shady, what's up? Good to see you guys. I'm trying to scroll through and find people. Demonoc, channel member, what's happening? Paul Mike's a channel member too. Everybody, I'm just not reading right. Not only Charlie, I saw you earlier, my friend. Good to see you, buddy. Evening, Kathleen Smith. Where are you? I see people saying hey to you. There's Chris229. I missed a lot of you guys and gals. Where's Kathleen? Different how? Are you talking the washers compared to bearings, or skiffs compared to regular bearings? Because I can show you on both. For example, the latest bearings that I switched out, I think were let's say when I switched out my McNeese, because American knives are really a good one to switch out, because that's what Steve Skiff started making bearings for their knives. These are American made bearings, but this McNeese Mac 2 had stainless steel bearings, and I want to say there were 9 ceramic balls that went around the circumference of the pivot, right? Fit the pivot nice, the same diameter. So it fit everything fit nicely, same ring size, 9 ceramic balls on the stock ones, plus they were steel. So when I got the phosphorus bronze and ceramic ball bearings from Skiff, I want to say they had 13 balls. So if you think about the same circumference and you think about 9 balls versus 13, there's going to be more surface area contacting the ceramic ball or contacting the steel ball in the case of the replacement bearing. And it just makes for less side to side. To me, it just makes for a much nicer action over time. And I just really enjoy supporting Steve Skiff and Skiff Bearings. But that's just a great way for a very reasonable price. I think Skiff Bearings run between 12 and 13 bucks for a set of bearings. And I'll show you what a new set looks like because they're solid phosphorus bronze instead of stamped. And I can show you what replacements look like too, because some replacements, and there's nothing wrong with the bearings that I take out. You never need to upgrade your knife with skiffs unless you get a knife and you've got really a issue with your bearing. But for example, on this knife was given away. I probably need to send these bearings because it has skiffs in it. But see, it comes with a plastic bearing with ceramic balls in it. So when I replaced it with skiffs, you're replacing it with a solid phosphorus bronze bearing, and they're all cut, perfectly to width, the depth, or whatever you want to call it. Let me get a. And then a washer, if you've got like a Spartan Harsey or a lot of the Spydercos, and you like a nice washer because you work maybe in a steel shop or somewhere where there's a lot of dust and you don't want a lot of crud getting into your knife, a washer kind of seals it up and it also gives it great action. These are the washers that fit my McNeese Mac 2 because I took them back out and put the bearings back in. But I could do that on the live if we get bored and show you guys how easy it is to swap them out. But so this is just a solid phosphorus bronze washer. However, it's thick to be exactly the same thickness as the ceramic ball that they make and that they make to replace it. So what comes from the factory. But a skiff bearing, I'm going to show you this one right here. Where most of your balls on a factory bearing that you get, there's nothing wrong with this, but you'll notice 2 things. They're not solid phosphorus. They're usually stamped either out of brass or out of bronze, and the balls are not placed as closely to one another, i.e., giving you more balls per surface area. But I'm going to pop out a skiff right here. Let's see. So I'll count those balls in just a second, but you've got a solid phosphorus retainer, and then you've got all those ceramic balls. You've got the same solid retainer and those press fit balls. So on this particular bearing, you've got 14 balls, maybe 13. I may have counted one twice. But if the knife that I replaced that out of, which was, I haven't put these in any, this is a 1/4 inch by 1/16. And if people are wondering, hey, Paul Might, I had one ball somehow pop out of my Evo custom knife factory because when I went to clean it up, I noticed one ball had come out, and I reached out to Steve Skiff and I said, "Hey, man, I need to get another set of the Evo bearings, but can I just get one?" He goes, "Why do you just need one?" I said, "Well, I had a ball pop out and I can't find it." And he says, "Dude, that happens sometimes. I'll send you one." And great customer service. Again, American company. They've got a really good compatibility chart on their website if you want to like see what size bearings your knife uses. If it's not on there, what I got, and I've given one away. I got is this little cheat sheet. Let me make this small. Let's do this. Boom. This is a little template that they designed and made that allows you to take your bearing out of your knife, check your pivot size, because you want that to be able to, you want your pivot to be able to slide right in that and not in the one under it. And you want to be able to slide your bearing through these slots, and that'll tell you if it's a 3/16, 1/16, or whatnot. And then you can select bearings if you want to. The cheat sheet is great, Paul. And again, that's just a great company to support. I've used them ever since I started watching Lefty 3 years ago. I used to put skiffs. I was a weird guy. And any of y'all who've won Civivis off the channel out of my personal collection, which I gave out a bunch, or Kaisers, 80% of them have skiffs in them because I just enjoyed getting skiffs and upgrading them. I just enjoy doing it. I blame Lefty for that, but I really kind of think it's a good way to tweak a knife for a little bit of cash. That scale swaps, and for me, sharpening and maintenance, just maintaining a knife. I didn't realize because I live in the Southeast, so we get a lot of yeah, Paul. I mean, they're good bearings, and you figure if they're good enough for skiff knives, which I've never held one, but I've seen them, and I've seen like Metal Complex do up closes. I've seen Lefty do up closes. It looks like an amazingly engineered machine knife. If they're good enough for them, they're good enough for my stuff. I would think almost everything that uses like all my hinders that I run on bearings, they're running on bearings because Hinder has fine bearings, but they're steel. They're steel balls. Not that there's anything wrong with steel balls, but ceramic balls are going to be more self-lubricating. I think they're smoother. And I've also put the Skiff thick washers in here because you can put the Hinderer washers in, or you can set them up with bearings without that little ring that comes with your tri-way system and run 9. Nobody listens to Eric. I don't know how much snow we measured because I didn't go outside. Hold on a second. Hey, Alexa, how much snow fell in Huntsville, Alabama today?
It might snow tonight at 9 p.m. There's a 51% chance. Also, there's a winter storm watch in effect until Saturday, January 11th, 6 a.m.
Hey, Alexa, how much snow fell today?
It might snow tonight at 9 p.m. There's a 51% chance.
Hey, Alexa, stop. Hey, Google, how much snow fell in Huntsville, Alabama today? They're all trying to give me forecasts. We probably got about, let's see, 5 or 6. Let's go. Huntsville, Alabama, snow, 110. Boom. So we got 7 inches. 7 inches of snow in Huntsville. I did not go out. I did not make snow angels. I did not sled. What's up, Trevor? I chilled. 2 feet in Arkansas. Whereabouts in Arkansas, Trevin? My ex lived in was from Arkansas. I got married to her in Eureka Springs. Love that place. Burnt Relic, Cyber Wife. No, dude, I'm not even going Cyber Wife. One wife was enough for me. I got a great kid out of it. I can tolerate her, but no, I'm a solitary creature. I'm not getting in any more happy hostage situations. But Arkansas, there's some beautiful areas in Arkansas. There are also some shitholes like there are everywhere. But that's just life, right? They are what we make them of them. Nobody listens to Eric. What is up? Your ceramic balls. I've got a cousin that's got a titanium ball. Mina. Let me see what that is. Because they were from Rogers, and then they moved closer. I think they moved to Springdale to get closer to nice little town. To get closer to, he was an optometrist or something for Walmart before he passed away. But yeah, so you're on the western side of Arkansas. Have you ever made it to Eureka Springs? No snow in Lee County? It didn't get that far south? I didn't check any maps. But, it was nice. And what's great is it's not super, super cold, so we're not going to get iced in. It's probably icy now if you were to try to go out and get stuff. But I loaded up yesterday afternoon, not with like bread and milk, but I got plenty of shit I needed to keep me alive. My essentials. But what sucks is I've got 2 packages that were supposed to go out yesterday, one to White Mountain Knives and one to Marcos. And they sat in the mailbox. People had parked because I live across the street from a cemetery. So the good news is I have no neighbors across the street. The bad news is sometimes people stop kind of in front of my yard so they can walk across the wall without coming all the way through the cemetery to see their loved ones. I have no problem with that. But if like a group of them comes, sometimes they block my mailbox. So Thursday, when it was nice, I had my flag up. I had 2 Burnt Relic. Eureka Springs is awesome, dude. We went, there was a place there, the Rogue Manor, that used to be a Scotch restaurant bar that sat underground where you sat at the windows and you could see the rocks and the water running down the rocks. This was in 1996, maybe. It was sweet, sweet, sweet. And we stayed in a little Victorian house, me and her and my guitar player, my best man, my buddy, and his girlfriend at the time. And man, we got so wasted. And what's so funny is the day that we were supposed to do the wedding, because it was real small, kind of elopement, but we went and got our license. And then at about 9:30, we met my buddy and his girlfriend at this little bar that sits right when you drive into Eureka Springs. It's on the 2nd floor. And we're sitting there just getting hammered. And I see my ex's parents drive by. She tipped them off. So it wasn't going to just be the 4 of us. It's the 4 of us and her fucking parents. I felt kind of betrayed. That should have been a sign. Beautiful camping in the Ozarks. There's I used to ride motorcycles, and not professionally or anything. I just used to like to ride on the roads. But the Pig Trail is a very famous motorcycle route that runs through the Ozarks, and it is beautiful. And I had a sphincter seat grabbing moment when I slipped off the shoulder, and the shoulder was just flat, but it was gravel, and there was about that much displacement between the road, Roman M, what's up, and the gravel that I was in. And I was going only about 30, 35, but it's real weavy. And I had to get back on, so I had to turn hard enough. I was on a Yamaha V-twin, my father-in-law's. So I didn't want to wreck it. I didn't want to lay it down, but I had to turn sharp enough to clear that without sliding out my back wheel. And it was tricky, man. I was right up against a guardrail. I mean, not right up against, but I was probably 2 feet from a guardrail. It was brutal, but it made for a good ride down the rest of the Pig Trail and much more alert. Very scary, Trevin. And that's why I eventually got rid of mine, sold mine, and just, I wouldn't say I've quit riding them. I'd be happy to probably go on a ride with somebody if they had a couple of bikes, but the odds aren't in your favor. My mom's got a great friend who's probably 15 years older than me, who's lost her leg when she was 19 years old riding a motorcycle at the hip. Um, I know we all know people who've had terrible motorcycle wrecks. And if you think about it, the way I was taught to ride defensively is think that 80% of the cars don't see you and the other 20% are trying to kill you. You just don't know which makes you really on edge. But I laid my bike over in a Home Depot parking lot because I'm just going like 10 miles per hour, maybe 8, maybe 7, just easing out of this Home Depot parking lot. And this lady does not see me and turns right in front of me to go into a parking lot. I would have slammed her door and I had to just pound my front brakes and my back brakes. I don't even know if she saw me. But yeah, it sucks. I mean, I'd love to ride dirt bikes, but then you wanna get air, and I don't need to be that's what I quit doing 20 years ago on skateboards, is taking them anyway vertically. Unless I'm doing a bunny hop over something, I will consider that, but I like to just go straight. Same on bikes, but on bikes, you gotta contend with cars. On skateboards, you gotta contend with squirrels. It's a real thing. Squirrels are a real thing. Yeah, Jim. I mean, you've got to drive defensively no matter what you drive. It is, it is a real deal. Especially in snowy weather. That's what's so bad because I lived for years in Colorado, 3 years. So I got pretty adept to driving my 82 Honda Accord stick shift through snowy mountain passes because before I moved to Boulder, we lived in Vail for a ski season and our cars were our transportation. But you come back to Alabama where people aren't used to it and they don't pre-treat the roads so you don't have traction under the snow and you get ice in the south and it's just a mess. I try not to even get out. I have to worry because my dad is close enough for me to walk, but it would be a cold, shitty walk. He's probably about 3/4 of a mile away. But like last major snowstorm we had here, I got stuck going up a hill and slid almost into a car, but luckily slid against the curb and had to wait till it melted, but had to walk the rest of the way to his house and all the way home because I have to change his medicine out from time to time. Because he's got a pill dispenser. So yeah, snowy weather is great if there were some kids that were across the street in the cemetery sledding and doing shit like that. I know, Jesse, but the ones around my house are some chattering. They conspire against me. They for sure do. I like it, Crispy. That's true. Unless you've got a killer back deck that looks over your property, then you're really styling. Um, what other knives was I going to show you guys? So I did decide which straight line custom I did not buy. So I think I told you straight line customs the wrong word. Hey, Mark Parks, channel member, what's up, buddy? But the straight line knives available at White Mountain Knives, I've seen them, and at Blade HQ are, I found out from listening to Blade HQ's talk about them, that they are a company started by one of the main designers over at MKM, Maniago Knife Maker. And they have a Warncliffe. I did a video on both of them. And this little guy with a little bit angle blade. And I never planned on even considering this knife. I was going to keep the Warncliffe. But after carrying them and cutting with them both, I would still like to, if I sold a knife, go back and get the Warncliffe because I think it's a fantastic little EDC design. And what I really like about it is if you like pocket dropper knives, this knife has 2 mounting ways. So if you want to drop it in your pocket, you can put it in your pocket like so, and then flap that over your pocket. Now, you've got to use your thumb or the whole thing will pull out of your pocket. But if you like carrying it on your belt, it's got a magnet up top, whoops, where you can mount it like that. But it's a little bitty knife. I want to say it's 6 inches. It's a great size. And then for an inexpensive fixed blade knife that I have put an edge on, it didn't need it. I just had been using it and wanted to put an edge on it. This is the Kaiser Beaver. This is a little guy. I want to say this is 6 inches too. I'll measure it in a second. But it's D2, G10, kind of like a mini bushcraft knife, like a mini hair, which is one of their knives. You got jimping here, paw blade, thicker knife. Oh, does it? J4 Tactical. I'm gonna pull that up here in a second. But these little guys are like $46 on Amazon. And this is a lanyard hole. It's not a pinky hole, or it's a like hang it up hole. But it comes with a nice Kydex sheath. It doesn't come with an ulti clip. It does come with one of those big belt clips. But my favorite, and I think the video comes out Sunday, one of the knives that, I can't remember if it was Jim or if it was Lee, somebody sent the channel, was a Kaiser harpoon that I really loved. It's a 7.5, almost 8-inch knife in D2. Well, they make a mini harpoon, and harpoon is a collaboration between Maverick Custom Knives and Kaiser. It's not a new knife, it's been around. I'd never really been attracted to it until I experienced the full size harpoon and then realized that the mini is in 3V. They make it in either a micarta and stonewash blade. I like the PEI in the black. They also make another color in black. The mini looks great. The mini is so thin. It rides as a pocket dropper so well because you've got this really nice, you can get, I like to carry, if I put on a deep carry clip or an ulti clip, I like to let it ride high so that my knife rides deeper in my pocket. And the mini harpoon, I think it's not, it's got a super sharp splinter digger tip. So you don't want to put a lot of horizontal pressure on this knife. You don't want to pry with it. It's tough. It's 3V, but it cuts great. And all my EDC fixed blades, which I still don't understand what's going on with my knife journey because I really am smitten. I've got another EDC fixed blade that I traded with Brother Carco coming Monday or Tuesday. I think it comes Monday. And I'm really stoked to show you guys that. It's a cool little knife. Ooh, they had a 10V version. Sweet. I just went to Amazon. So if we go to Amazon, it's kind of misleading because if you search for a Kaiser, and I know I like Amazon because if I don't like it, I can send it right back. All I have to do is drop it in my I've got a Whole Foods here that makes it super easy to send stuff back. So if we go, I was just on it earlier, so it's going to come up. Kaiser mini. So when you click on it, you've got all these different variations. So the PEI blackwashed is 69, but you can get the 3V. This is the one I would have gotten at the time. You can tell it's not as quick on Prime, but this is 3V micarta for $59.99. I think that's a good looking knife, and I like the black. That is the black D2 full size. They've got the D2. That's the full size. That's the 3.84-inch blade. But then they've got this one, which is the D2, but right next to it, they've got this little mini. Oh, that's not a mini. I'm sorry. That's full size. So the only minis they've got, like, they used to have they've got a Harpoon and Nitro V. I didn't know that, for the same price as D2. So yeah, if you're interested in mini harpoons, they've got a lot of different variations and probably more on the Kaiser site. But the harpoon is a good bit bigger. It's 3.84 inches, where the mini, wait a minute. All right, I'm confused. All right, the mini is The mini's a shorter blade, but I don't know why it's not telling me what size it is. Oh, 6.49 overall inches for the mini, 7.67 for the full size. So that's the difference. They're both EDC knives. I've never heard of 4V, but I'm sure it's, like I say, it's probably harder than 3V. And 3V is known for its toughness, right? Because I know you've got your edge retention, you've got your toughness, you've got your ease of sharpening, and your corrosion resistance are kind of the 4 variables that they weigh everything between, right? I think so. No, the Overland Sport. Let's check it out. Is let me go to the Google here. Overland. And you guys, again, you teach me about more knives that I didn't even know existed. Oh, dude, is it a Swartz knife? Because we've probably talked about this before. Is this it, Mike Staley Carey? Because this is a gorgeous looking little knife. I'm unfortunately not buying knives right now, but I love the look of that. I would go, oh, is it not going to change it on me? Yeah. I do it in black or green. .6 inches. I love it. 63, 64 Magna Cut. Love it. Are these lead time 2 to 4 weeks? That's not bad at all. So is this it? Is it the Swartz knife? Let me go back and see. Hey, B&A, Morbid Claws, what's up? Yeah, Mike Daly, that's it. So I was on the right page, right? That's a gorgeous little knife. I think it's a definite winner. I love pocket droppers, and I'm real bad about. I'm not bad, but I carry them in my back pocket, my back right pocket. I'm a smaller guy, right? But they don't intrude when I sit down. They don't feel like they're in my pocket. Um, but I like this knife so much, I'm going to bookmark it. Never tried one, but it looks. Where was it made? I didn't. Not that it matters, 'cause I buy knives made everywhere. Go to about Idaho, even more. I like that. I like that, like that, like that. Shane's doing some really cool stuff. I don't know if y'all have been to his Instagram, and I know he's kind of not backed up, but I don't know how quick it is to get on his books because I haven't tried. Um, but I've seen some of this. I forget the name of the knife. We're going to look at it together. 'Cause I always miss, even though I'm subscribed to him and I've got bell notifications, I never get notified, or I never read the notifications or know where they are when he is going live. And I don't see his shop lives unless they're late at night. I'll sometimes catch them. But that's gorgeous. That's one that came back from Satu, the Thug. Can y'all see that? So that one's got a Satu hollow grind on it. I like his flat grinds too. Um, this is that kitchen knife he did. It's super sharp. That was his first kitchen knife. And there's a Thug, I guess before heat treat. But look at that flat. I mean, I love seeing people do different stuff and kill it. And then get his own heat treat oven because he wasn't getting heat treats fast enough and just do it. Cool stuff. Richard, I carry certain knives, Scout carry. I don't have any out here now, but most of my chickadees or most of my really small knives, I carry right at my appendix to the right of my belt buckle. I don't like to carry a bigger knife on my back. I'd rather just let it dangle on my side if it's like my red line. I'll make an exception for my Bradford Guardian 3 because it's kind of dictated. But all my small knives are Scout. This is an awesome little knife that Paul Mills surprised me with. Scott Aries EDC made. It's a pedal. I think it's his smallest knife, but it's got glow carbon fiber and a glow G10 bolster. It is a fantastic little knife. What's up, Mayor Salt? Lee Wolf, good evening, buddy. We were just talking about you. Hope you're doing well, dude. Talking about your killer knives that you share with the channel, and some you've let me check out, like that Very Good Knife Company. Guys, as a matter of fact, there was a newsletter sent out today, and I don't know if y'all remember. I have no affiliation with Very Good Knife Company, except I think they're a very good knife company. And where this kid, who's not a kid, but where his background comes from, grinding blades for his dad, is more impressive of a pedigree than you could probably get anywhere else. But he's got a drop coming up on this little guy, I think. To the store. It's the Adventure Junior, isn't it, Lee? Wasn't it the Adventure Junior? Do you remember, Lee? If it was the Adventure Junior? Yeah, some of them do. Like that Mimo. I've got a couple of Kaisers. The mini Mimo is perfect. Hey, Lee, was it the Little Adventure or no, which one is getting ready to drop? And I'll show it. Oh, here it is. In stock and up next. It looks like this is in stock. Oh God, no, this is the one, the Rambler. Notify me when available. So it's not, let's see if, no, none of them are in stock. Wasn't the Rambler, was it? Let me look at I don't have my email. Maybe I do. Let me look at something real quick. The Rambler. Okay. And it looks like they sold out because they sell out quick. But this was it here. And I want you to look at the grinds this guy does on his knife. Look at that hollow. Look how clean it is. My favorite's one that Lee has. I'll show it to you in just a second. I did a review on it. And then my buddy was so impressed with it, I'll let him see it. He ordered a Hawk that was in stock that's a flat grind. But Very Good Knife Company makes very good knives at very good prices. Go back up here and let me. So this is the one my buddy bought, and I did a review on this. Really nice, a little bit large for me, because it was not large in length, but large in thickness of a fixed blade, but definitely a worker. And then the one that Lee let me check out, that's definitely, I think, my favorite of the bunch, is the Tradition Junior. Look at the grind on that. Can y'all see that? Are y'all, yeah. Get it Nitro V or ADCR-V. And his grinds, guys, are immaculate. The plunges are identically matched. This whole grind line is perfectly symmetrical on both sides. But he's got just some really neat knives. Any type knife, from a bushcrafter knife to a machete to little bitty knives to linesman knives to more specific use type knives. But y'all check them out. I'll drop a link in the chat and I'll come back to the chat because I'll get all sidetracked. Yeah, the Rambler, I looked at them and they were all sold out because he even told me when he had the Hawks in that they sell out quick. That he's got a loyal group of people that are out there looking for him. Hey, Blind Wind Fury, welcome. Welcome in. Todd, me too. I found a new clip that I like better than the Ulti clip, and I've ordered them off Amazon too. They're called Discreet Carry. My Ulti clips always get a little rust, not a lot, but a little rust around them. And these deep carry clips are lighter, and they make them in all sizes, all different screw patterns or bolt hole patterns. And it's just got the same little teeth. You just don't have the clip to clip it down, but they retain great. This knife sheath is brutal. That is a Lucky Dog's Knives Ranch Dog. Great little 3V knife. Tomcat. There will be a giveaway later, but you need to hang out. You need to chat, be in the chat, and we're giving away a knife. Don't know if it'll be the numbers game. Don't know if it'll be random. Yeah, for some reason, Todd, I think it's just the humidity here, but I have an issue with them. They're easy enough to clean up, but these deep concealment carries are kind of powder coated. I've not had one of them rust, and I've got them on a lot of knives. So I've got a deep concealment carry on this sheath. Got an Ulti clip in my pocket. I can't get it out right now, but I'm carrying this today. This is a T. Denny Apprentice in crew wear. A great little harpoon, interesting knife. I've got it in an Oak City leather sheath like this one, but you can choose the clip. This one's got an Ulti clip on it. This one's got the deep concealment carry. Brand New American, the Ulti clips are very available on Amazon. That's where I've gotten all mine. I don't know if it's the cheapest place for them, but they're always the easiest for me. And they don't come. I'm a Prime member. I don't get them in like a day or two. I usually get them in about a week. Takes about a week. Good to see you, Blunwoo Fury. Welcome in. Welcome in. Enjoy the people in the chat. Throw out questions if you got them. We do random things around here. We do have what I call I don't know, action breaks. You need an action break every now and then again. And we have rage breaks. I've got a new rage drop. That's our rage drop. And somebody had asked about the $6 million man. We got him. He's in here. He's here. And then everybody does music drops when there's chats. I've got something. I've got a video drop. Tomcat, what's it see, buddy? What is up? Ulticlip has a new wire clip. I saw that. Is that more for? Let me go there. Is that more for pew-pews? The Ulticlip. Yeah. Open up. All right. It's giving me nothing. Is my StreamYard still working? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Oh, there's the wide one. Yeah, okay, that's for a whole. Let's look at the little one. It's just very slow. Slow website. But that is the AP, and that would work great on a Heath. I like that. AP wire. The one I get the most of is the 2.2. Or is it 3.3? You go to Amazon because it'll show all the ones I bought. I buy the Slim and the 3.3. Hey, I got the A1 in stock, or the AP.
Here you have a complete lineup of all the clips we offer from multi-clip.
Hush. $15.99. I'm gonna try one of those because I've got. Usually I move them around sheaths, but the ones that I bought the most of are the Slim clip, which you're kind of limited because you've only got this short little area for either one screw or two, and I like to have two, but I bought 4 of them. And then the one that I probably use the most is the 3.3. Where'd it
Here you
go?
have a complete lineup of all the clips we offer.
Hush. Where's the 3.3? I saw the 3, but I didn't see the. There it is. I bought 5 of these. And there, I think this is the one that fits most for me. But when you go into these discrete carry, can y'all see that? See, these are powder coated. And I prefer them. The trick is where your screw placement layout is. And they've got a bunch of sides. Holster builder. I've got one of these on my 355. Can't show it, but I prefer these clips, and they make a small one too. Let's see. They always want to show you different clips. I think I had to go to their website. Hold on. And that's where I actually ordered them. Come to think about it, I did not order my discrete concept carries from Amazon. I ordered all of them from their website, and they've got all of them right here. I've ordered this one. This one, the 3.1, is actually better because it's got 2 screw holes, depending on how your Kydex is set up. But it's usually set up to mount low on the sheath, right? But they're a little less expensive too. This is probably my favorite little one. And it holds your pants. Why isn't it scrolling there? It grabs so well. So they're those. What have I missed? What have I missed? Tomcat, what's up? After my morning dews. I celebrate it. Acid Test Kids, what's up? What have I missed in here? I don't think I missed anybody. Mike J, howdy, howdy, howdy. I have not gotten a whole lot of new ones in fixed blades or in folders. I did get this in from Concept, which I've really been impressed with. only because I don't know if y'all remember the Concept Cryo. That was one of their earlier knives. Concept is doing everything so much better in titanium, and it's solid titanium, so it feels really stable. S35VN, and they're selling them for $121. That's impressive to me. And then the knife we're giving away tonight that brother Jim Miller sent in is a knife I was never even aware of. I'm going to review it before I send it out. And we've got snow here, so mail won't go out till Monday. But it is a little Kaiser Seahorse, and it's got some of the droppiest action, thumb studs, liner lock, 9 CRV. Very sharp, great little size. And I've got a couple of Kaisers that'll be coming out on review in the next couple of days. But I haven't been getting knives. That's the whole thing. It's been weird. This one I did a review yesterday on, 2 of them. I sent the other one back. I bought this one. This is a straight line, aka MKM, Montiago knife makers from Italy. A little small fixed blade. They also have a Warncliffe. And Blade HQ, as much as I hate to say it, has the most aggressive pricing on them right now. So they are, go real quick. Straight line. There we go. All right. So they've got a lot of different handle materials. They're M390. They're little. $149. That's the Ernie. Up to $169 if you get carbon fiber, but you can get G10. You can get wood, burlap micarta. But this is the other one that they had that I had in my possession that I thought when I initially ordered them that I was going to get, that I was going to keep. But I like the blade shape of the Ernie better. It comes with that little sheath. You know, I don't know what the heat treat is on it. I don't know how well it's done, but it's very, very thin. Maximet Native 5. Very nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. I'm in North Alabama, and it's not that it stops us, it just stops the city, right? They don't have shit to prepare for it, like trucks and stuff. So if they've got any excuse to not provide services because of liability, yeah, the Ernie was my favorite out of the 2. The Alley's a good knife though. If I had a couple of knives that I was willing to get rid of, and if I sold one of them, I would have gotten them both. You know, I watched the video where he and Kara first walked in there, and then he's been on quite a bit. They got quite a bit of content when he was over there. Yeah, I like seeing him on there. I'd like to see him be a regular dude. Yes, I have B Shady. That's the is that the AKA fixed blade? I've got it right here. Padre. I love it. I love it. Let me make sure I'm talking about the right knife. I was listening to Metal Complex tonight, and my God, they sell a shitload of those knives. 1,050 of them. Oh, yeah, I have seen that, but have you seen? Let me show you the one that I'm most excited about. I'll show you all the Primo first. I have seen it, but I've not experienced it. Here's the Primo, and then I want to show y'all the one that I'm kind of excited about. I love the pattern. I love the blade. Kind of a cleaver style blade. I don't know why I'm not getting good pictures of it. Anyway, because it wants me to go to this one. This is the one. No, I don't want iron fly. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I don't want the watch Kickstarter either. on here. You click here for some reason, and it takes you to these pre-orders. And one of the pre-orders they've got $139 in Vandish HRC 6365. That is a sexy, sexy fixed blade. It's called the Stiffy. And they're up right now. So this is the one I would get if I was buying knives. Or I would get this one and be just as happy. How cool are those? So those are pre-orders for a knife called the Stiffy. They did another fixed blade not long ago, and it was it was kind of like a Padre fixie. Can't see it? Uh-oh, that's right. I didn't go past it. Sorry. For some reason, some pages will let you jump around, some won't. Jack screwed me. But the sexy one, let's see if it's moving with me. Is this black one right here? Hold on. Isn't that cool? And that's in Vandus. I've got a giant mouse in Vandus that was the St. Nick's Knives exclusive. Crispy, I think people say between 62, 64. I could be wrong. And I think there are a lot of people, the jury's still out. I'm going to pull those off because those are dizzy. Y'all tell me if you want to see something. It's going to go big. This is going to go big. Ed, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. But the knives I've got out tonight, one of my favorites, this is from a U.S. maker named Colin McGuire. This is a Mag 10 EDW made up in Maine. I met him at Blade Show in 2022 and was able to get a knife from him. This was around $300 in Nashville at the small custom makers. And this is a great value on a USA made knife. This is an axial gear DLC coated, which if I'm not mistaken, the DLC are a little more. Let's go. I don't want to misquote it. But they are Stonewash. They're $199. Stonewash and what is that? There are 3 left in Stonewash and Black Micarta. The DLC might be like $229. This is G10. Very thin. Very good EDC blade. Again, when I look at EDC knives, and I've got some that are thicker. For example, this little $42 Kaiser is a little chunk. I mean, this is a little mini bushcrafter batoner if you wanted it to be, right? And it carries fine. It doesn't feel like a huge knife, but it's not nearly as light as like this Big Idea Design Company Lookout, which would even be better if it had micarta handles on it. Coonley is watching a football game, Ed, and he's watching Oklahoma Texas, and he's going to be in late. He's going to come in a little while. But again, guys, this has been one that's blown me away. And I'm not an Ultim guy. Again, you can get micarta and stonewashed. I just liked it. Maverick Blade Company. Check this out. And I've not sharpened this yet. This is just the factory edge. But it's all blade geometry. I mean, this thing is so thin. So slicey. I want to say they're $63 right now. It's not the best price Amazon's had on them. I've seen them cheaper. But I like a big heavy knife too. last night on the honey bucket. I don't know if y'all saw that with said Stevie. He was carrying his whoops, I failed it. His Harsey. I need to clean that out and put some fresh Slick-O-Mall on it. I just need to loosen it up. I love that knife. Mine's not hollow ground, but it is sharpened. I did take it, I want to say 20 degrees. I think it started maybe at 22. Whoops. I hit the, not nearly as sharp or slicey. It'll cut, but it's not nearly as slicey. It's not like a paper divider. Yeah. No, and last week, guys, he had his mic situation totally figured out. So there's no more echoey Kyle. There's no more, where's my echoey voice? I think I took it off. I did keep my Cole voice. If I want to get my broadcast on, be somebody I'm not. Just kidding. Yeah, his demon voice where he's just like every 8th word was like it was coming from the gates of hell. Paul, I think I've got an early, what's this called? The rock wall. And I think this is 61. And I've sharpened it. And it's sharpened great, burred up great, and it's held at edge. Now, have I cut a ton with it? No. Would it be better if it was harder? And I just remember hearing that these were lower HRC. And this is a knife I can't reverse flick either. Every now and then, but freaking it'll go flying across the room. I think the best value that Tactile has is the Chupacabra in aluminum with a shark lock, with a Magna Cut blade. A really cool blade, in my opinion. Very solid feeling knife. $249, or you can get a special edition with the Lynch clip for $269. I don't know what it's heat treated to. Let's see. I'm just curious. Tactile. Where is it? Where is it? I don't understand the Mariner 2. I just don't get it. Don't understand the price. Don't understand the knife. But I've never experienced it. I didn't like the Archer either. That was me. The Chupacabra. All right. So this knife is $249, which is, I think, fair for an American knife, especially with the shark lock. Ooh. And then you get it with the Lynch clip for $264, which looks indistinguishable almost to me. But no, it's not giving me HRC. Let's see, maybe it will down here. 6162. That's the lock. What's that? What the what? $63.64 is the blade. I don't know why they talk about the locks HRC, but it's $63.64 for the Chupacabra. It looks very similar because it is one of the other knives. You had the Vision. You had I can't remember the knife that uses dendritic cobalt, but they use the shark lock. They licensed the same shark lock. So I don't have my FG close, but I've got my Vision R. And if you look at them, whoops, I can't get them lined up. They're similar, but definitely different in the way they feel. Yeah, Sandrin. That's the Sandrin. The Sandrin also uses a shark lock. I think that's the first place I saw the shark lock was on sander knives. I'm a huge fan in the Wii and the Civivi. The Civivi, I think, is probably a little better knife, even though I like the materials in the Wii. A great little cutter, great little EDC knife. When I say little, for me, I open packages, cat food, shit like that. So, but I did get, I don't know where I put it. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know where I put. I had Kyle sharpen a mini A100 for me, and I don't know where I put it. It must be in one of my other cases. Oh well. If I take a break here in a second, I'll go grab it because it's so slicey. I didn't know it could be that slicey. At the same time, he sharpened a Joey Ramone push dagger for my buddy A to Z. Unbelievably sharpy. I got to finish this so I can get into a coffee.
Oh no! Mom's favorite vase. She always says don't play ball in the house.
That's going to be on the quiz. That's one of the things we learned. Mom always said, don't play ball in the house. And I've heard really good things about their S45. I only have one knife in S45. Hey, Matisfaction, what's up, buddy? Most of my Hinders are in 20 CV, which my understanding is they are softer. But I've learned a lot from Edgy and others. You know, a softer steel might not have the edge retention, but it's going to have more toughness, right? So depending on what a knife maker A, B, or C is designing it for, they might choose a little softer HRC so it can pry or do shit like that. I've got slime or some shit all over this knife. Hold on. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I've got to get a rag. I got some funk on my knife. It's making me a little bit weirded out because I get OCD. Be right back.
You can call me Nannerpuss. And guess what?
I got my rag. I'm in good shape now. Yeah, I don't know if it's just tape. I don't know if y'all are like me. I can let a knife build up for a while with tape and goo, but I get a little anal. You know, I don't have a lot of S45 in general, come to think of it. I know I've got a Spyderco in S45, which is probably the best of the S45. Excuse me. Ah, good to know, Jeffrey. I knew that they were different. Neither one of them are metal, right? Or are they metal? I remember that little red plastic one came out first. Hey, 100% love. You know, Ed, they are in stock. When Hinders drop, I've noticed this with a lot of knives. They don't go as fast as they did. Hinders especially. That's true, Joseph. Speaking of closet doors, I did get a drop to only I thought certain people would. That's Chaka getting ready to go door crazy. I had to think that was pretty good. Yum, be shady. I'm jealous. They're all metal, but not steel. Interesting. I'm just now barely starting to understand that was Chaka. Land of the Lost, the Slee Stacks, y'all. I used to have nightmares about those creepy lizards. I used to watch that show as a kid. I was going to put some Kiss Meets the Phantom, but I figured I'd get shut down. Mr. Pickles, first off, you can't lose. I've got both. I love the Malibu. The size, it was a great knife. I got the Mordax. It's got thinner blade stock. It's a bigger knife. So if you're looking for a knife that's a little bigger, and again, you can't lose with either one of these, but the Mordax is about a 1/2 inch longer, has a taller, thinner flat grind, but they're both, I mean, this one, I bought one of the first generations and it had a little bit of detent lash and I wasn't even worried about it. And I reached out after about a year to ProTech and said, is this something I should worry about? My buddies doesn't have it. This one kind of does. He was like, yes, please send it back. We'll fix it. And I'd had it for a year. So the clip was scuffed up. It was just kind of, it had some wear on it. Within like 10 days, they sent me a brand new one. Ooh, that's true. That would make it even better. For some reason, because I'm usually not a flipper only guy, but I've kind of gotten back into it. As a matter of fact, I traded knives with Paul Mills on a knife. We've traded several knives, but I've never ever had one of these. I think I showed it earlier. It's a flipper only because I can't get my finger in there to flip it. But this flipper, if you watch it when it comes around, it makes a perfect extension of that choil. It's just, to me, it's done meticulously well. This is the Evo Tempest. The only thing is I can't get my finger in there to flick it. Maroney, have you ever seen a Kaiser Momo? Probably one of the best front flippers because you can also middle finger flick it. I'll go grab it here in a second. Well, we're hour 30 in, so let me grab it real quick. Y'all sit tight. I'll leave you with a little action that'll automatically come back to my table. So here you go. So I'm one of those guys, everybody's different, right? I'm one of those guys who typically does not like front flippers. It used to be my least favorite opening mechanism, but these guys came out. This one's huge. The Momo, these are the budget versions. This has evidently come out before. And my favorite, the Mini Momo. This knife is super ergonomical, amazingly slicey, and it's got a front flipper that you just can't fail because it's so vertical. The full size, I can also middle finger flick. Whoops. I cannot, for some reason, middle finger flick the small Momo. But this is a $72 and $73 front flipper that are in different blade steels. No, they're not. These are both 154. But the Mini is not really a mini knife. I mean, it is to me, a small, medium-sized knife. This one's perfect. I really like this knife. I mean, if you're opening cat food and you're opening peanut bags and weird shit like that, this is a slicer. Breaking down cardboard. Or I don't work in the kitchen with a knife, but like this big one, I could see it being a great camp prep knife or a kitchen knife. So front flippers, and last night Stevie or Maddie was talking about front flipping Harseys. Maddie, I hope you saw that. Dragoon. I'll never get it again. Let me try my little one. Oh, there's no way to front flip the small one. Mimo, you know, knock on wood. That is one of the greatest ProTech designs. And I can give first hand knowledge that they have the best customer service that I've experienced. But one of the only customer services I've needed. I've needed one other that was really shitty, but they were great. This is a little small, but for me, it's really not. It's just, in all actuality, my minis, my Hinderer 3.0s, my mini Benchmades, my mini Aries that I don't carry that much, that I should carry a lot more. I tend to carry bigger knives than I need. And I don't think I'm trying to make up for some phallic inadequacy or anything. I just think I like a bigger knife. Show y'all a really cool one that's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. This is a Magic Whiskers 2. Have y'all ever seen these knives? No, my hands are medium size. My hands are actually pretty good size. So this is about 3.5 inches. This is a 4.5 inch knife, I think. That's the Magic Whiskers 2. And that will cut your finger off if you're not careful. Yeah, it's different. The Magic Whiskers 1 had it up on the bolster where you just slide the bolster. This one has the ass end scale that you just basically move with the butt of your hand. That's another thing with knife collecting that I've eased into that I used to never, ever have any desire. I had a Boker Kalishnikov that I gave away, and then I have a little Kershaw. I think it's the launch number 4, the little small one. Paul, that was my finger. It's got a big blade, but if I hold my finger on the scale, my finger is against the blade. I've got to get it on the clip to get it to really pop. But it's if you put this up against the SNG or the PT, much lazier. For example, this one has much more kick. That's probably my favorite, the PT 107, or I think that's what it's called. Maybe 207. This is the little one in MagnaCut, the mini version. Lynn Thompson, that's exactly right, Mimo. But I do realistically consider the worst case scenario I think I'm going to be in. And I've always got a backup Freedom Pill dispenser. So I don't ever really look at it outside of needing it as a tool. So if I'm going camping or hiking, I will carry something more robust. But if I'm just running around town, I still carry 3 knives. Like today, I carried the Typhoon. I carried the little T. Denny Apprentice, little USA made knife. And then I carried a really cool slip joint The review is going to come out tomorrow, but I moved it back. It's the Queen Anne Typhoon. Crispy, are they legal in your state? Mr. Pickles, it's whatever you're comfortable with. I think you can get a good knife for $30, $44. And I use knives. The one that I'm using in my pocket's an over $300 knife. And I use my even more expensive American knives because I think that's what they're made for. Yes, everything's legal. Text me later. But this is the Queen Anne from Tuya Knives, which is unique in a couple ways because it's a modern slip joint. M390 blade. It's a bigger slip joint than I'm used to, which is a good thing because it fits my whole hand. It's got kind of a robust spear point blade. Nice walk and talk. Very stiff to get out of the handle. But I like a crisp walk and talk. Whoops, I didn't let it snap. Awesome. Yeah, and you know, I could, in all truth, now I'd have to carry a little bit bigger fixed blade than I've got there, but most of my fixed blades in my collections, the sizes that I gravitate towards, like a 6.5 to 7-inch knife, this isn't it. A knife like this. This is a Viper Knives Mirror 2. These are about the same price, and I think you'll see the same maker's mark on this from the straight line. It's designed by the same guy that started that company. Or this, I could carry this as a primary and only carry. There's no need for me not to just have this in my right pocket, except that I like to have a folder too, you know. So I carry one knife too many, even though I don't think you can have one too many. But if I was probably going to get rid of one, yeah, the Mirror 2 is great. The Mirror 1 is terrifying. The Mirror 1 I reviewed at the same time because I did the same thing. I bought one, but I wasn't sure I wanted to see both blade styles and review them both. So the Mirror 1, the first one he designed it like this with a thumb choil. And this is the sharpened edge down here. This is a swedge up here. So when you look at it, it's totally funky, but it cuts, right? And the thumb gives you pressure. However, if you're like me and you're used to having a choil here, I knew it would only be a matter of weeks before I put my thumb up on that blade and cut myself. So I was like, no, this is a dangerous knife. Flawed design. The Saviti Sentinel is a good knife. Let me pull that up to make sure I'm thinking of the right one. Sentinel. Oh yeah, that's a great one. That's a version. They have a sin cut similar to that, and they have a Wii that's super, super nice. Yeah, Applied Weapons Technology. When they first started making scales, I got an early set, and they've come a long way. But I got a set of smooth aluminum mini axis or mini Adamas scales, and they fit perfectly. They went on like a champ. I have not bought any more since. The Serene Sin Cut. Yeah, I mean, they're such good knives. They really are good knives. I mean, you can get, I've got proof that, I mean, this knife right here, after spending about 4 days with it, cutting with it, still, I think it's still sharp. I've cut some cardboard with it, and whoever wins it, yeah, it's still sharp. I was going to say, if it's not sharp, I'll sharpen it. then I can always freshen the edge up if somebody wants the edge freshened up. But this is when they had them on sale, they were $26. The ones that are still available at Knife Center are like $44. But you can get a great knife for a really good price. This little knife is an excellent small fixed blade for $46. D2, but it's coated. It's sharpened great. I put an edge on it. It burred up really nicely. And then my favorite sub $100 fixed blade is this one right now. And you can get the full size for less money, but it's D2 and this one's 3V. But if you're looking for a splinter digger, slicey, aggressive, slurpy saving, badass knife, this is little mini harpoon is a winner. So do y'all want to do y'all want me to do a random on the giveaway tonight through StreamYard, or do y'all want to do a numbers game? Usually when they're bigger crowds like this, y'all prefer the random. But it's up to y'all. This mini is so good. And the geometry on both of these knives is amazing. Dragoon, who is that? Let's see. Thin cut NCR is decent. You know, I'm learning. I'm not learning firsthand. So I guess I'm hearing from people who are doing it, making it happen, that, and I guess it's different if you're doing it on a small batch, but they're doing that heat treat's not brain surgery. If you set your variables, you set your time and you manage it, you shouldn't have random fluctuations. Now, if companies choose to do it so much less than the manufacturer recommends it be heat treated at for what you're doing it for, that's on them. And I think for a long time, knives, I know, because when I first joined the community, I think it was Love Them Knives. Somebody would test them to see if they were really D2 or if they were really S9EV or whatever the case should be. And they started catching on and they made them the right metals. But then you had stuff like, you know, HRCs coming in light and people were testing them and holding them accountable. So yeah, you can grab it directly from Kaiser. Let me put their link up here. Where's Kaiser? I was looking at them today. The one I like is the purple and Ultim. They sent me, look, I'll tell you, the Fouid looks like a cool knife too. I didn't get to experience that one, but it looks like a very, very cool knife. The one that's their new premium knife, I guess you'd call it. There's the Mini Momo. See if it'll pull up a page full of them. Nope. Yeah, Kaiser's search page doesn't work that well. But yeah, you can get them. You can get them from Kaiser, or if you like to get them quicker, just because I have low attention spans, I can. You can also get the Momos from Amazon. But the bolsters G10, and then this is what they call G-Mascus. And on the Mini, the bolster's aluminum, and the scale is micarta. This one's like $1 more. This one's like $75, and this one's like $74. But you can also get them in different blade steels. Several different choices. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a name. Let me get my random thing pulled up. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Let me give you all a little action break. All right. Let me put in a word that y'all can type in here in a second. That's the wrong stream. I want that stream. And we're going to do hashtag. Do hashtag. Make it easy. I'm going to make it easy tonight. I'm going to make it very easy. Now, must be, hey, Angelo, what's up, brother? Must be 18. Must have a U.S. mailing address because I can't ship knives overseas. Can't do it. And must be kind and must be picked. Send me an email. Got to be who you are, not multiple entries, all that good stuff. And there's a way to check that. So I'm going to share the screen. And then once I share the screen, there are 60 of y'all in here, and I'd love to see 60 entries. The Pyrite Light is probably one of the best values, and I gave mine away after I reviewed it, but I've got a review on it. It was, I want to say, $38 when I got it. Fantastic thin knife. It's just really well done. Just a winner. Yeah, so just load up the comments, throw it in there once. I'll find a piece of Joe Isabella jank, pocket jank to throw in there, a little extra besides just the knife. I haven't seen one in G10. I bet it is cooler, and I bet you it would be cool in with some kind of scales on it. Like if you could get some kind of aftermarket scales. Burnt Relic's in the house, guys. Burnt Relic is the artisan that made Jason Grant's memorial burning back there. That's just absolutely awesome. Hey, Douglas. Okay, guys. Don't feel bad for creeping because I've been creeping. I crept in metal complexes for a while. I was in with live talking last night in Stevie's, but there was one I crept in earlier in the day because sometimes I'm just doing something else. Let's see how many we're getting. So we've got 36 entries. We've got about 64 people in here. So I'm going to give it a little while. And it's going to be this knife. Whoops. A great little Kaiser Seahorse. It won't probably go out till Monday because we still have snow on the ground, and I doubt I'll get my mail tomorrow. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put my email address in there. So whenever we determine the winner, that's the new channel email. It's basically just Javon's. Yeah, it's a Seahorse, Mr. Pickles. And there'll be some other swag that comes with it. Some Joe Isabella pocket jank, handmade, really cool stuff. Some stickers. Thomas is playing for Todd Carr. Awesome. Yeah, you know, I had several knives come in from Jim Miller, and Jim Miller's made this giveaway possible tonight. But I've had they're not available anymore. Now, this one, just so you guys know, this knife's still available. And I hate to promote them because they're not one of my favorites. But Knife Center, they've got it for $44. Let's do this. Let me show it to y'all, and I'll drop the link in case anybody is just interested in it. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to share this. So they've got a few in stock. But, you know, Kaiser on their site, when you look at them sold out, they were selling them for 26 before they let them go. They do have a few in stock for $44, which to me, I would give it a great buy at $44 because it's so well, I guess you'd call it engineered. It just seems to be, the bearings are smooth, the blade centering spot on, the detent's money. It's just a good knife. Is everybody getting in? We got 42. Y'all drop in your hashtag knife in the chat. It's about the same size as the penguin, Mr. Pickles. I can tell you, I'm not good at size comparisons, but I can measure it for you. So closed, I'm gonna say it's a little bigger than the penguin. Closed, it is 4.5 inches. The blade is 3 1/8. So the overall is right about 7.5 inches. I got that off my little Amazon titanium ruler. But the action on this is literally sick. Mr. Pickles, it's super light, but it is it is 3.10 ounces. So if you're an inch per ounce guy, you're right in there. So it's about an ounce, an inch of blade steel. Wake up. Yeah, the Towser S is great. I never experienced one of those. I've never had a tactical pterodactyl, but I'll pull one up. Y'all get your votes in there, your knife, your hashtag knives. Tactical pterodactyl. There we go. Yeah, I've not had it, but looking at it, it looks really cool. It looks like something that would be right up my alley, but I'll look at it with you because I like to learn about knives. I really like the Raptor. Full size camper, Magna Cut. Look at the bottle. The mini camper suite, the mini Raptor suite, or the mid-size Raptor suite. 4.9 overall. That's perfect too, though. That's a little bit smaller than my Chickadee. I love these knives. So much so that I'm going to. Anytime you get flame anno, it will affect your heat treat. I like that. I'm a big fan. And I'm going to show y'all while y'all continue to put in your winning numbers. Then we're going to draw in just a couple of seconds. But there's about to be a drop on January 15th at TKL Knives. I don't have one out here, but I'm a huge fan of TKL Knives. They're made over in Georgia. And they're going to be dropping their combatants, which are fantastic. I should go grab it and show it to you. They're going to be dropping the combatants, which is a small EDC, and they'll be dropped, so they won't be builds. But they are 7 inches. And then they're dropping their piranhas, which are little. I've got a piranha right behind me. I'll grab it. There's a piranha. So there's a piranha. And it is only 5.75 inches. And then they've got their night stalkers, both the CG, which is the combat grade, which is a little thicker, and then they've got a CQC, which is sick. I'll show you why. And they've got just the regular Night Stalker. So the Night Stalker is this right here. So look at that blade shape. You know, it's got a ring on it, got a blade. And then the combat grade is just a thicker version. This combat grade, but then they got a CQC. And the CQC is different because this part of the blade sharpened. So it's got 2 inches sharpened at the front. Totally sick. But anyway, that is going to be dropping on the 15th of January. So we've got how many people in? 47 people in. All right, I'm going to give it 15 seconds. All you got to do is put hashtag knife in the comments. If you haven't yet, put hashtag knife. Hashtag knife. All you got to put in. $15, 14, 13, 12. Are we getting any more? Yeah, we got a couple more. All right. For your combatant, nobody listens to Eric. You can get really any size because TKLs, I would get the longer one, but TKL knives, their sheaths are done really good on both sides. This has just got it on one side where you'll have both an eyelet and then you'll have these grooves cut. So you can kind of be really flexible on where you mount them. But if you'll send me a DM, I'll find out for you. Sailor07 got in. Yeah, the second Agent 07. I've got an 02 and an 03, and I love the style of that knife. All right, guys, we're getting ready to draw. We still got time to hang, but we'll get the giveaway. So in case some of y'all have stuff to do before Satisfaction, I'm going to share it. Everybody got your knives in? Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck. Acid test kids. Acid test kids is the winner. Congratulations, brother. Let me write you in my little book. And then you'll want to shoot me an email just with your address. I think I've got it, but just to be safe, it's always best. Why didn't it come through? Chat. All right, throw it up there. Oops. Shoot me an email, Acid Test Kids, and I'll send you a little Joe Isabella Jank and the Seahorse. Thanks to Jim, brother Jim Miller. He writes you in here. And then any of y'all that are channel members, come to the live tomorrow for a little bit if you can. It won't be a long one because I know other people go live on Saturday, but it's just a little gathering where we can get together and I can do nice stuff for you. Let's see. Friday Night Flicks. 108. Seahorse. Acid Test Kids. Congratulations, buddy. So now that that's out of the way, I haven't even gotten into a coffee yet. a little music going. Get me woken up. Congratulations, buddy. Spook Dizzle. Or does somebody just say spook? Mersalt, what's going on, brother? Gentlemen, you guys stop by tomorrow at 11. I don't know how much like energy I'll have. I don't think I'll sleep that much tonight. Wrenches being should now. That's not a sentence. A, there's no capital A, and I don't know what this should be. No, nothing's being sold. Like wrenches? No, people get wrenches that are my buddies to, keep order in the troops. And I'll pass them out. I don't sell them. Of course not. That'd be cheesy. And you can't really do anything with a wrench except share links. And that's why I want people to have wrenches, is so you can share your links, share your socials, promote your buddies. But I'm also taking a big risk because you got great responsibility with that. You could share other things that could be sleazy and I'd have to ban you. And I wouldn't want to do that. I don't think most people would do that. Blind Woo. What up? What up? Welcome, welcome. But yeah, the concept cryo in titanium and S35VN, $121 for a titanium frame lock. It's just done very, very well. Has a really good flipper tab with a great center of gravity. Paul Mills, dude, thank you, man. Here, let me get my new donor. Here we go. I missed it. I should be quicker. Here we go. I'm so shitty. I've already. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, brother. Now that's better than a kazoo, isn't it? Nick Treveglia. Nick, thank you, man. Good to see you. Happy Friday. Let me get back to my. Thank you, Nick. Now, if I go sideways, which I won't, I did, Matisfaction. You want to see my favorite one? This is my rage clip. This is the Javon angry art. I can't stop, dude. I mean, I just.
Take her up. Holy sardine.
I know. They're bad. They'll switch out. Yeah, that's a camp, dude. That's a outward bound camp that they go on. And, I think it's healthy to get your rage out. I'm just terrified that much rage exists. I'm such a warm fuzzy when it comes to that. Yeah, Robin, they were overpacked, though, because he had to look through his Barracuda spray and his shark spray the whole time. Batman, you can't tell me he wasn't getting gnarly, just leg chomped. And then I couldn't find any good Evel Knievel ones, but I found one better. Anybody remember that? Everybody remembers that. Breakfast, say you?
It's Nannerpuss!
You can call me Nanner.
I just found them the other day, Maddie, so I haven't even spent any time deciding which ones would be good. I love the way Stevie did his. The timing was perfect on it. That whole, the honey bucket is my new place to hang. I'm there for the airplanes and for the shenanigans. If y'all haven't been to the Live at the Honey Bucket on Thursday nights, absolutely you need to go. And I'm going to drop a link up here, which I know y'all have, but we're going to drop it again. And there's also a Friday night live stream that comes on tonight on Ced's channel, but it switches back and forth between Ced Stevie and Matisfaction. So I know y'all are subbed to these channels, but Thursday nights and late after me, and then we've got Brother Matisfaction who goes Wednesday nights a little early, and then he also every other week has the Ced Faction, which is the late night gathering after my gathering. And since it's snowing here and I won't be going to Taco Bell, I will be awake and conscious and hanging out for Matisfaction's Ced Faction, which is a much better live. They're more entertaining. I thought I'd have Kyle Coonley here to sharpen, and he'll be here after the game, I'm sure. There's so many good ones. And again, I found this one is probably one of the worst Bigfoots. Kyle's legs, what's up? Hope the game's going well, man. Let me see what the score is. Hold on, let's go. 28-14, Ohio State. That's a good thing. And we are in the final. So Kyle's boys won. Nice. I had Kydex on a lot of sheets, and then I found this company. I love Joe's stuff, but Oak City Leather is right up in Chattanooga, which Joe's a little further east. But Oak City Leather has a lot of pre-sized. It still takes a week or two to get it because they make them. Because you choose the thread, you choose. Let me find it right here. Let's go. So what I did is I just went in and went to their basic pocket sheath. That's $94. And then you choose your knife model. So if I wanted to get one for my axial, I could. I wanted to get one for, let's see. Let me find a knife. LT, this one's like, let's go with the Frontier first. All right, I've got that knife. Leather, I want it to be walnut. Secondary leather, don't really care. We'll go walnut. Stitching, purple. You choose the clip. Ulti clips are tough, and so are the deep carry. So I'm going to do standard, black, and I'm going to do black rivets. I'm going to do right hand, and that's all you do. And you'll get one in the mail. And again, I've got one with an ulti clip, and since it's got the leather behind it, it's hard to get on your pocket. Same with the discreet carry. I've also got a couple with this clip, and they work really well. But he also has scales for the giant mouse, straps, and then we've got Lancelot leather. So this little flat one, you can do the same thing. You can choose the knife from just a bunch of knives. I wonder if he has a right. Park River, Micro Canadian. So yeah, you can pretty much build it out, or you could go to right here, EDC Roundtable. and we will go see Master Joda, who is also a leather artisan. His shit's better than cardboard. Flips out there. Hey, what's up, buddy? What is up? You went away, Kyle? Wait, there you are.
Can you hear me okay?
I hear you good. Can you hear me?
I got you, buddy. Pardon my tardiness.
Hey, congratulations on the win.
Thank you, buddy.
Was it white knuckle at all, or was it pretty well?
We didn't play all that great, but we were ahead most of the game. It was tied up towards the end, and then they had a chance to score, and we ended up getting a defensive stop and ran it back for 6, so it just put it away. So we won by 2. Yeah, we won by 2 touchdowns, but
nice. Congratulations.
Too close for my my comfort. I think we should have beat them bigger than that, but hey.
Was that the championship game, or was that the one right before it?
Semis.
Semis, gotcha. So do you know who's won the other one, or is it still yet to be played?
Played last night. It was Notre Dame, so we played Notre Dame for the championship.
And y'all should be a favorite over Notre Dame, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to set edge bevels?
We can do whatever we want. I don't know if we had any questions earlier before I was here or not.
You know, they've kind of been. Have y'all high school wrote? Hey, I've got a road drop. Y'all got any specific questions you'd like to ask sharpening wise, or do you want to see how to reset your edge bevel should you want to do that? And this is for.
You there, John?
Yeah, I was just showing Chaka.
For some reason,
hit on the stone.
It muted my mic all of a sudden. So
yeah, it muted both of ours. You couldn't see the drop because you're not looking at the stream, right?
Well, I'm looking on YouTube, so I'm not looking.
Yeah, I threw a little screen up there that was Land of the Lost. You might be seeing it on delay.
Now I see it. Okay.
And that automatically mutes it when I throw it up there. I've got several little weird ones. Mattisfaction said Stevie did it on the Honey Bucket when they were talking about Jack Wolf and that car drove through the garage.
Yeah.
Were you all there for that one?
I just didn't know. I didn't know because I couldn't hear the noise of the actual clip. That's why I was confused. I thought that my whole stream went down.
No, you're good, dude. I know she's got only one clip on there tonight.
I just haven't put the other one on. I haven't done anything recently. So I've been kind of lazy this week. Snow and everything. I hasn't feel like doing much.
Ron Chaka used to keep me up at night thinking about the Slee Stacks coming after me. All those 70s shows were great. They're so cheesy looking back on them.
All right. The only question I knew that I had ahead of time was Paul Mills wanted to talk about flat grind versus hollow grind.
Correct.
For clamping. So they make different clamps that you can actually set. They'll have, so like if you see this, how in between there it's straight, it's parallel.
Right.
They make some that have undercuts in there so that it actually gets more out here and less back here. So it's better for different types of distal tapers and full flats.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very specialty. I've not
you
had
can
that
kind of make all of them work with your regular clamps, can't you? Unless it's just all the way full hollow.
Even then I can. So that's what I was gonna show. So like something like this. So this is hollow back here and flat up there, right?
Right.
The key is seeing, and you got a big swedge up top there, you can see. So the key is trying to clamp where you have flats. So what I would do would be I would try to find that flat spot there. Get that one on first, the one over here closest to me first. Tighten that down, make sure it's on there. And then I would adjust the secondary clamp to get to, actually, I got to move this one. So
Get it in closer so you got more clearance where your blade.
well, I want to have the second one be able to move. So what I would do is get this one out of the way first, get this one on that flat part of the blade there, lock that down. Now, and I always try to keep it parallel to this bar here. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this one in and try to find the flattest spot out near the tip so I have the most stability, but without sacrificing any, like right there. And I'll lock that down. And then now I'm not going to have side-to-side movement, but I've also got flat and flat. And this part down here doesn't matter. Now, if you had a complete flat all the way, the same principle, you just get to the flattest part of the blade. The hard part is when you have, like, say, like that dagger I did with Jeff, right?
Right. It was all sloped.
Yeah. So what I do is I have to get the tip of the clamp to get into that blood groove, that fuller groove down the center. And that's what I clamp into.
Using one of those specialty clamps, I guess, to hook into it.
I use this right here.
Huh.
So I get the tip of that clamp in that groove, and that holds it, and then I flip it to the other side and then realign everything. But same thing, I would get that into that clamp. So it'd be basically getting very, very much the end of this part here into that groove to hold it. That's the only part that really matters is once you have that locked down, the grip isn't moving on this. So down here, the hollow doesn't matter and the flat doesn't matter here. It's a matter of where can I mount to, and depending upon if you have a severe difference in blade thickness, you may have to adjust accordingly. I start here because that's by the pivot side, because that's the most stable point. And usually you have a flat spot there. So I'll mount here first, and then I'll adjust out to here to where I can get a proper grip. And if it's really wonky, like say there's a huge clip or something else like that, what you may have to do is you may have to do something like where you get this like that and then adjust the tip out, and then at that point it's not going to be parallel, but it's as close it's as close as you can get to being parallel to be able to get two flat spots.
Right, which is more important than it being parallel as having it the same on both sides.
And having a slight change, this makes it obviously the easiest and the most accurate. That's not going to change the degree, but it just makes your action a little bit wonky as far as how your movement. So it just feels different. Paul, did that help answer the question? Did you have any issue with that?
Or was there a specific knife, Paul?
Oh, look, you got Javon's doors and Kyle's legs.
Yeah. I saw Javon's door last night. I was creeping somewhere and saw Javon's car door. And hollow grinds are typically going to be a higher angle. Like you're probably going to keep it closer to 20 than you wouldn't want to lay it back necessarily. Because the whole thing
depends on blade stock. No, because the difference on a hollow doesn't make it weak. Hollow actually makes it stronger because you have thicker behind.
Throw out a knife type, like a knife, for instance, and maybe he can talk around that one, and it'll make sense.
If you're getting me a better idea of what you were looking for, Paul, I'd be more willing to answer that. But a hollow, no, you've got because like on a full flat, all right. Let me find a full flat here. Yeah. Like on a Spyderco, full flat. As I sharpen and go up this blade, that is going to get thicker and thicker behind the edge, right?
Right.
As on a or just say not as, but instead on a hollow grind, it's thicker here, and then it gets thinner as it goes up to a point, and then it gets thicker again. So
Right.
your thinnest part is right here where my thumb's at, right?
Right.
So as I sharpen, it's not going to get thicker behind the edge until I get way up there, and the knife's almost pointless at that point. So having a hollow does not make it any less tough. So I'm not going to have to worry about. I can still take it low if I wanted to.
But would there be as much of an advantage with the hollow taking it low, or since it's already so thin, or does it just depends on how thin it is?
Depends on what it is and what you're doing with it. I mean,
So Paul says, how do you keep the same angle when you flip it? It sounds like he's got a knife that he's not able to get a solid clamp on, because if you found the flat, it would keep its same angle, right?
yeah, there's that, and then also the key to that is if I'm. Let me lock this down here real quick. If I got this in here like this, and I can adjust these accordingly. But what I typically do is the closer that this tip is to the center line, the more accurate it is when I flip from side to side. So if I wanted to get really pedantic, I would do this. I would slide this over
So
like
that's
that
your center point. Gotcha.
to there, where this tip is still, it's not dead in line, but it's closer than it was before. Now, if I were to measure and flip and measure and flip, it's going to be a lot closer than it was before. I mean, I shouldn't say a lot. It's going to be closer, but still, when you get something like this precision, it's still pretty darn close from side to side. And you're not going to have to, if you were to measure and it's, say, 20.2 and the other side's 20.3 or 20.4, you're never, ever going to see that, notice that, feel that, be able to tell a difference. If you start jumping like a degree or more, then yeah, you got issues. But if it's just, a 10th or 20th, it's never going to make a difference.
I'm looking around to see if I've got any knives that don't have flats on them. And I'm wondering if there's most of them are going to have some flat, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, you have some point at the top where, because it's either going to be, unless it's a dagger. No, I mean, yeah, you're going to have at some point towards the spine, you're going to have a flat because that's where the thickest spot is.
You either made a breakthrough or you wore Paul down, because he says makes sense. But I don't
good.
see it in the apps.
There's something, AJ. So when I flip it, I don't have to worry about that because it stays clamped. I'm not actually taking it out and flipping it. This will flip like that. At that point, again, now that tip is still close to the center. I'm not having to touch the clamps once I put them in there.
And most fixed angles flip. I know the Work Sharp does. Don't they all pretty much flip?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Can't think of a reason why you would need to adjust them like that. The only ones I don't would be like the magnet table ones, but those also have a built-in system where you pretty much just flip from one side to the other, and it keeps your angle. So I don't foresee that being an issue with most knives, or most systems, I should say. But yeah, I think if you get a quality system, when you flip from side to side, as long as you have everything lined up properly, you shouldn't have much variance. Once you start getting some of the cheaper ones, yeah, you're going to have a lot more variance, and you're going to have more wiggle and more bounce to them. See, like this, people don't like this knob right here. This actuates the tension on this arm. So like if I'm doing stropping and I'm going to be flipping back and forth a lot, I'll lighten this up so I can just lightly flip it back and forth, right? Well, if I'm actually sharpening or profiling, I'll turn that down so the tension's much tighter. So it takes quite a bit of force for me to flip it over. So that way, if I'm actually giving it a little bit of gas, it's not going to
wiggling
wiggle.
a knife.
Right.
Interesting.
So, and like on the cadets, they're actually threaded back there, and if you start spinning them too much, like going left, like counterclockwise, don't actually unscrew back here because they don't have this part right here. It's all based on a screw tension, which I think yours is as well, John.
Yeah.
So if it starts getting loose, just start spinning a bunch to the right, and it'll tighten itself back up.
Yeah, I think the ones that they've come out with that replace the Blitz are probably better and more precision. But my little Blitz was such an upgrade from my TS or from my Work Sharp, and I had all the add-ons from my Work Sharp. So I probably had a couple of $100 in my Work Sharp because I
Yeah, I
had
mean, the
stones that
Blitz is
carried
still a
over.
big step up from that, just for quality, build quality alone.
Exactly, and I already invested in the stones, which are where you probably want to be selective. I got too many stones probably, but
Yeah, I mean, I've got more dollars in stones than I do systems easily, and I've got a couple of nice systems, so if that tells you anything.
yeah,
Stones
but
are definitely
it's your job. I mean, you're doing it professionally.
right, but I'm just still saying. I mean, it adds up. But like we talked about that one time, you can get away with 2 to 3 stones if you're choosing what you're doing, and if you're not having to run the gamut as far as
All the different edges that people might
right.
want.
I mean, if you're doing something and you're not doing like especially like I've got, not only do I have my specialty ones for like doing full progressions on this type of knife, then I've got the narrow ones to do for if I'm doing recurves or anything really, really tight, then I'll have, I've got a whole set of Beneves just for that. And, that adds up. So
The little dogs.
no, the half-inch stones.
I had a little half
Or,
inch
I'm sorry.
double-sided set that I gave to Jeff because I'm an idiot because he needed them.
They're the here, let me grab them.
But I wasn't doing any. I just had them first before I had my full size, and they were taking too much time. I liked them because they were double sided, so I thought I was getting more value for them. Right?
So like that's a full size.
Yeah,
I should say full size. This is a
half inch, right, or an inch?
that's an inch wide Beneve. Then these guys are the narrow ones. So you can see the difference in thickness there.
Yeah,
that
big time.
that helps you get into tight spaces. So
Protex are as good to me as I've got in terms of American knives when it comes down to users.
So like this case holds 12, and I've got probably 3 other cases full that are not
You use
all.
all kinds of stones depending on what, because you'll use Arkansas stones too, right?
No. So like
No,
I've got those. Then I've got, let me grab and I've just got like a wood case with some other narrow stones in there. Those are just
are all your diamond
aluminum
or
oxide. These are aluminum oxide.
And why would you choose aluminum oxide for softer steels that aren't super steels?
That, and I mean, then I've got backup strops that I've never even loaded up, just to have on hand in case.
Give me some stroppy juice.
Then I've got another one of these with some more just random other stones I've got. Then I've got another case somewhere with more, and then I've got my freehand stones. So
would you say 90% of the time you're reaching for your diamonds?
Yeah. Unless I'm doing something, ultra specific. But like the reason why I got the other ones was because first they were less expensive. So I was trying stuff out, and if I wasn't using it on something crazy, then I could get an idea of what I needed and what I liked and progressions, and then go from there. And then as I dug in more, then I could pick and choose what I wanted.
I used to wrestle with that, Mr. Pickles, and I'll let Kyle answer it because what I started looking at, the way I justified it is the value of my knives that I was starting to want to sharpen. That, hey, Edgy, but Kyle, how
All
much
right.
to invest in being able to sharpen like that?
Well, hang on. I see two questions above it first.
All right.
So, Tomcat, hit me up on IG, and then we can discuss that.
I'll drop
It
that.
depends on several factors, but just to give you a heads up, my base starting price is 25 plus shipping, return shipping. But it just depends on what needs to be done. But we can discuss all that. If then the next question I saw was Paul Might, and then I'll get to Mr. Pickles. Don't worry.
Yeah, let me find Paul. Let me get your link in here first.
I just saw him in order. One. So if you're coming off a 1200 grit stone, Paul, again, if we talked about it last week, and I don't know if you were here for that or not, but it depends on how you are deburring. And like we discussed last week, deburring is more important to do on a stone than it is on a strop. So if you can get that 1200 grit, 1000 grit with, say, say you do that 1200 grit, and then you're actually deburring on that, you want to get most of that burr off on that stone, and then when you take it to the strop, it's just the last few passes. So I would say you could get away with a 3 or even a 1. I don't like going higher than that. I personally, if you're putting in the work to get better at it, Paul, which I think you are, from my understanding and what I've seen, I would go with 1 and just make sure that you're getting 99% of the burr off on that stone, and then a couple passes on the 1, and you're done. That makes sense? Hopefully.
It did to me, but not at first. You had to talk me through it because I was using the 6, and the next I'm going to get is going to be a 1.
And then the other one, Mr. Pickles. So that depends upon your level of interest and also your level of your knife collection. You think of it like maintenance. So you don't want to go buy a race car and not be able to maintain it, right? Or be able to afford to have somebody maintain it. So if you want to do it yourself, you got to invest in the proper tools to get it done. If you're on a budget, I understand that, and you can build up and you can start slow and get into it, but there is definitely a steep curve starting out. And I live by buy once, cry once. So even if you can't do it right away, maybe save up a little bit each month, and then a few months down the road, buy the setup you want. That way you can maintain everything properly. I would say you're probably going to, like, if you were to, again, I'm not going to shoot off the hip. I mean, this is straight truth. I'm a huge fan of TS Prof. I did not become associated with them because they approached me. I became associated with them because I'm doing testing for them, and I believe in their product, and I already had purchased their products. So I would say your entry level, if you want to get serious, would be a TS Prof. I'd probably say the Pioneer, or wait, there's another one coming out, but I don't know the price on that one yet. The Pioneer, I think, starts in the $350 to $390 range, and it comes. You can get them with, just the basic diamond stones. That will be fine to start you out with. If you want to get serious, then you will start investing in stones and some other items. But I think if you were to get something like that and a good strop with emulsion, you'd be set. At least to get going. If you wanted to get serious about it, then feel free to reach out to me. I can build a package for you and say, this is what I would do in your scenario, based on the steels you have, based on how intricate you want to get. I mean, there's tons of different factors, but that I think would be a good entry point. And yes, that's more than your work sharps or your other things, but without feeling them in hand, the difference in build quality is night and day.
It
And
really is, because I went from a work sharp to a TS Prof, and at the time, I got the regular base Blitz, which I want to say was under $300. They don't make it anymore, but it was so modular that every paycheck I was able to turn it into a Blitz 360. I was able to get the little piece that I put on
right,
to make it a 360. Then I was able to get better clamps, and then I was able to get the longer ones where I could adjust them with my fingers. So I think
can't
all
pull
of
up
them are
the
pretty upgradable. I can pull it up. You want the TS Prof site or the?
yeah, just because I can't see it, I can't pull it up obviously on my computer because I'm on
Oh,
my phone.
I got it right
But
here.
I think that the base Pioneer now is like in the mid to high threes, and I think they come with their basic diamond stones now.
Yeah,
Depending upon the package you get. I mean, obviously, and everything's upgradable. Like these clamps are brand new. These didn't come with the system, right? Like the L brackets sometimes don't come with the systems unless you get the fancy packages. It all and it, yeah, it all adds up, but you don't necessarily need it when you first start. It's a matter of
the
how much
Pioneer is the entry level or the KO3.
Pioneer.
They still got blitzes on here. I wonder if they're all
Mhm.
sold out.
They're phasing them out, from my understanding.
So 341 gets you a basic set with stones.
Okay. Now, I'm waiting for the delay for YouTube. Hang on, sorry.
That's all
I'm,
right.
I'm seeing which
This
one
is
it is.
the TS Prof Pioneer Sharpening Kit, which is their entry level. Looks like it's also available on Amazon.
Yeah, that's their. Don't do that.
All right, you want to go back?
No, I just meant don't do Amazon. I was joking. Yes, but the thing is, so the funny part is if you use that site, the US site, they actually ship out of Tennessee,
Oh,
and
really?
they ship for it's all drop ship for Amazon, so you're getting it the same time frame. It's nothing different.
Now the Cadet, is it just a little more? It looks like a more hardy build than the Pioneer. It's about $100 more.
Yes, it's more sturdy. It's a little beefier build. Um, it you know
I remember.
like the Pro, like the Cadet Pro they're showing, that one has the thumb wheel adjust now, so you can adjust the angle just by using that thumb wheel in the back, up or down.
When Jared first reviewed it, he was like, "It's a sharpener that could be made by NASA," and I remember that kind of just got me very interested. I'm trying to get to the Blitz to see if they've got it on closeout, but it's not.
So they actually have another one coming out. It's not on the site, and I have not tested it yet, so I can't really.
Hell, that's expensive when
What?
it comes to the kit. This Blitz that they've got, it's a full Blitz in
Yeah,
a box.
I would not get the Blitz at this point in time with everything they've got out now.
Right.
Um,
But I've added all that stuff to mine. All
right,
that.
and like I said, this is all things that you can add eventually. You don't have to start out with that. Like just because I've got something like this doesn't mean you have to have it to get. Like these are great. These clamps are freaking phenomenal, but they're expensive. And would I say it's worth it to get them? If you sharpen a lot of knives, sure. If you don't, then it's up to you how you want to spend your money. These are the
Right.
ones that
Right.
these are the ones that come with it, and you just use a hex key to tighten them, and it's fine. This is the convenience factor, and I think these are like $140 for the
Yes, you can
clamps.
go in here and you can go to the accessories and go clamps. Is it
So
changing with when I'm changing? Is it changing with you guys?
yeah,
Are y'all?
it's changing on my screen, but just delayed.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I was just making.
yeah, so they can see it.
So these right
Um,
here.
This is a different one. If you go to under new products, it'll show the clamps that I've got on here now.
These right here, or these right here.
Yeah, those are it right there. The quick clamps, and with their $140.
What's that tall thing?
Where?
this height adjuster?
Oh, that's that's that thumb wheel I was talking about. So that takes the Pioneer and turns it into a Pro, kind of like what the Cadet Pro comes with. So when you look at that, if you already had a Pioneer, you could add that and make it like a Cadet Pro. But it doesn't make sense to buy that Pioneer plus that piece, because then it becomes the same price
It's
or
very
more
cool
than the Cadet.
that they let you kind of build up the systems.
Yeah.
So those
So
you just take out and you kind of turn them like a screw and then push them down, or do you even
the
do
ones I've
that?
got on here now, yeah. So these, they actually have, you can see a lock sign. So if I flip it open, that becomes unlocked, and then I can turn it clockwise to tighten it down, and then spin it this way to loosen it. And it's got a bolt and nut in the bottom that just changes the tension on it. So then when I push down, it
So you put
becomes
the knife kind of where it gets tight kind of to it, then you push it down to cinch it in essence.
correct. And basically now I've got it set so where there's a slight gap there, and if I were to pretty much put any pocket knife, folding knife in there, and I put it down, it's going to clamp it good. If it doesn't, then I can make slight tweaks and then clamp it down.
But talking back about sharpeners and TS Prof, so I was just looking at the clamp section, but they have got parts because I bought extra spring stops for mine. I really pimped mine out because you can get abrasive holders with angle gauges. I even got the set of hex nuts, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if you go crazy, like this system that's sitting on my table is basically $1,000 without stones. But again, it depends on what you want it for and what you're doing with it, right?
Right. Because for me, it's part of the hobby that I enjoy as much as anything else.
Thanks, Dr. Drew. I appreciate that, buddy.
These are the ones I can't get off my rod that I think I need to spray stuff in, because I can take the screws all the way out and they won't come out. They've just gotten, I think, some slurry or something in there.
Yeah, and those screws are a pain in the ass because they're
small.
Yeah, super small. They're M2s, I think.
Yeah, but I have no problem getting them out. And that's another thing that TS Prof sends you a lot of extra screws for all your stuff because they know that they're going to corrode. I got one of those to add for my angle finder.
It's not even that they're going to corrode. It's just the fact that they have great customer service and they're willing to help people out if they can.
Hey, look.
But the only reason they corrode is for the fact that if you're using water, if you're using dry stones, they'll never have that issue. But I prefer to use them that way.
That's just the extender rod. That doesn't have the end that I need.
Right.
We looked at that last time. But yeah, they've got so much stuff. It's just like I bought one of these for the backside of mine because mine only came with one. But you can just really, what it did for me is it made me want to sharpen more. I started out with a little it's yellow. I want to say it's called Sharp. It's a little yellow one that had a couple of ceramic stones that got me by before I got into collecting. And then I got a Spyderco Sharp Maker, which was hyped for, on the internet, people I saw, but it was just one where you sit the stones at an angle and you just hold your knife evidently perpendicular, which I couldn't do. I could never really use that. And then I got the Work Sharp, which worked really well for me. I bought the stone holder so I could use my own stones. And then I bought the little base, but I knew I was starting to sharpen knives that were considerably more expensive. And I was enjoying sharpening. Like I said, I enjoy taking my stuff apart and maintaining it every 6 months. And I enjoy sharpening knives. So depends on how much you want to do it. It'd probably be cheaper to send your knives to Kyle, depending on how often you're sharpening them.
And that's an option. But I mean, again, I don't try to bogart or monopolize the sharpening. I mean, if you want to do it yourself, I'm more than willing to teach you and help you. But if you don't want to mess with it, then yeah, I'm more than happy to help you. And just because you can do it yourself doesn't mean it's going to be great at first. It takes time and practice.
Paul Mike, that was a huge breakthrough that I learned with Kyle a couple of weeks ago or last week about using your stone to deburr. Neil McKenzie says, are cheap angle guides as good as the more expensive guides? I guess that's for your hand sharpening.
No, I think he's talking about the little
Oh,
digital angle cubes. Yeah, if you get anything that's $20 or so, then you're fine. I
hey,
mean,
you want to see a secret?
I wouldn't buy anything off of Wish. You can get them from off of Amazon. Like I think the one company's Eye Gauging makes a really good one. Klein makes one. Anything we're not doing. Yes, it's capable of being super precise, but if like I said, if you're within a couple tenths, you're fine. You don't have to be, and most of those have a decent tolerance. They're not going to be completely off the spectrum as far as like difference in abilities. Um, like this system has one built in. That's what that. I don't know if you can see that or not. That's what that
Oh, they're
thing is.
140.
What's that?
The clamps are 140.
Yeah. So like this is built in. So when I just put it on the actual knife here, I'll balance it, push down, and that'll give me the angle.
And what I
So,
did
so
is
then as I adjust, it changes that.
I didn't have that, but I bought this little thing, which it comes on the Blitz 360. But since I got the base Blitz, I bought this little thing that you could set it on, and I bought a angle guide from Gritomatic for about $30. And I learned because I'd been using my iPhone before on my Work Sharp because your iPhone has and your Android does too, for that matter, has an angle finder in it. And my iPhone testing against my Gritomatic angle thing are identical. So if you've got an iPhone and you can get an accurate angle of where you're supposed to measure from, they'll work too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
It's a little long.
If you're in a pinch, but I think if you're gonna have a system like this, it's worth spending $15 to $20, probably $25, and just
Absolutely.
have one in your kit and be done with it.
Absolutely. And have one on your rod, I think, is the best way because having to zero mine out, you had to set your knife in your clamps and then
it's a convenience thing. Like I didn't mind it at all. I mean, as many knives as I was doing, I didn't care. I would sit there and use that adjustment. But yeah, having that built into the rod is great, and it's rechargeable USB-C. It's phenomenal. But again, it's a price thing. Is it worth it to you or not? Right?
right.
It's not a necessity. The one thing I will say is if you start getting into using resin bonded stones at all, and you're going to start using a solution lubrication, having a mat really makes a huge difference. And then just buying some cheap microfiber towels off of Amazon just to have it, throw them in your lap. So when the rod's moving back and forth, if any water drops off the stone, it's not going to get on you. And then you can wipe your desk off as well too. So, and the knife. So little things like that, just you don't think about, but make a big difference as far as keeping your area reasonably clean.
Hey,
and
Terry,
yourself.
Mine didn't come with stones either. I think in the old days, like last year, you could get the base sets. I think you can still get a base set, but I think more likely than not, they come with stones. Does anybody have a penguin they want to throw to Dragoon? If I had one, I would, but I don't have one, buddy. I've had 2 or 3 or given them away. I'm looking for I wish the Pioneer had an upgrade for a longer adjustment rod. Well, funny you should say that, because if I'm not mistaken,
what was the question?
I'm about to show him what he's looking for. Check this out, Terry, because I thought it was a full rod because I kind of need a new rod. But look, they do have an adjustment. You said for the Pioneer, this works with the Blitz, Cadet, and Pioneer.
Yeah, it's 6 millimeter.
Yeah, it's 325 millimeters long. So it gives you this much more space for $31. Can you see that, Terry? And that's just a TS Prof site.
Mark, I've not seen it. I'll have to take a look. I have not seen that one.
Well, I'm way up here.
Thanks, AJ. Mark was asking about the glide hinge. I have not seen that.
Hold on, let's go to Mark. For TS Prof?
Yeah, Mark Parks was asking if I'd seen the new Cadet glide hinge, but I have not seen it.
See the height adjuster. I was just seeing if it's on their site. Yeah, here's the glide hinge. I'll show it to you. I was wondering what it was. Can you see that thing that's $66 right there? I'm about to make it big.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the lady to click over. Hang
There are
on one
only
second.
3 left. But it looks like your rod runs through it. See that?
Not yet. Stupid YouTube delay. Oh, okay.
So
So that's an upgraded. That's your pivot, where your
your
rod
rod
slides
goes
through.
through.
That probably just makes the operation smoother. I mean, again, it's a convenience thing. If yours
Do you
wore
think
out,
it moves like freely up and down right here
no.
on the shaft?
Well, I mean, that other one did before, but you would be able.
So you
There's a
tighten
thumb
it
screw
down.
there.
Yeah, that's your set screw.
I'm sure that makes it move freely. If yours is
It
going bad, or if yours is you feel like you can't clean it up because it's too
it
gunked up or
provides a
something.
smoother running of the guide rod without
Yeah.
jamming the friction. The brass bushing ensures, because it looks like the brass bushing is what it's made about.
So, like, I've got a cadet. Hang on, let me pull mine out over here.
I need some cut resistant gloves, man.
No, you don't. Just be careful.
I'm kidding.
All right, so like here's mine off of my cadet. So that's got a steel insert in there, and it works just fine for me. I don't have an issue with it, but I also keep my guide rod. How do I phrase this? Because I know the chat's going to be stupid. I keep some type of liquid on it, so therefore it doesn't want to bind, and I just clean it out every once in a while. Just get an alcohol, spray it in there, and get a toothpick, or not a toothpick, but a Q-tip, and clean it out in there, and then re-oil the guide rod, and you're fine. And it's I don't see a need to upgrade this unless yours is going bad, or you just really want the latest and greatest. So hopefully that answers your question, Mark. But if you do, you know where to get them. So
Yeah, no doubt. See the ones.
but see, here's like I'll show this. So like that's a difference. You see the difference in color of that? That's from buildup from oil going through that guide rod, or going through that bushing. So you just every so often spray it with alcohol and wipe them down. And you're good to go.
Roman, I never regretted, and I remember when I first got mine, it was a lot for me to buy it. And as much as I've used it, if I broke it down to how much per use, it's really like less than a cup of coffee per sharpening.
Yeah, like I said earlier, the investment is high, but depending upon, I mean, if you've got 20 knives and they're all a decent knife, and you wanted to take them someplace to get sharpened, that's going to be basically the price of a system. And at that point, why not do it yourself? And then anything going forward is free. So
I do the Sharpie trick when I'm keeping the same angle. The angle finder was great when I knew I wanted to lay it back. Like for example, when I was sharpening my Hinders for the first time, I reached out to Jared because I didn't know Kyle was a sharpening guru, and asked him what he would set him back to not make them too. He's recommended 19 degrees, so I just set my angle at 19 degrees and then went to work.
yeah, I mean, those are great for muscle memory when you first start out, to be able to put them on a actual stone. And like I've got the ones I think I bought originally early on actually had a spot for a rubber band, so you could rubber band them underneath the bottom so they wouldn't move off the stone. And it's great for just slapping on and getting the feel for the edge. But you also,
Are you talking about this? The height adjuster? If you're not looking at the rod, not the rod in the back. No, The rod on the back, not the guided rod. I saw Kyle talking about the new upgrade. Is that it, Terry? Even Dwayne?
Yeah, that's cool. That turns it into a Cadet Pro basically at that point because it has that thumb wheel adjustment where it's a convenience thing. You're setting your angle based off of that versus having to move the height adjustment up and down manually. So
I think that was why he wanted to do it. I think that might be it. It's called the Pioneer Height Adjuster.
Nils, no, you don't, buddy. You just need to sell a knife or two, and then boom, you can buy it.
Hey, I hear the lottery's up to like 500 million, and I rarely ever buy lottery tickets. But then I also know that if you never buy one, you won't win. They don't sell them in Alabama because it goes against the Bible, I guess. I don't know why. But I always go up to Tennessee because it's like 15 minutes from here. And sometimes I'll buy one. Never won, never will win, but at least I'll have my fucking stick in the game, right?
Yeah.
That's it. The height extender. And they're both under their new products on their US site. And they're both in stock.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, Terry, let me know, and if that's not what you're looking for, I'll help you pick. But yeah, so they are coming out with a new system. I don't know the price on it yet, and I'm not 100% sure because I've not seen a lot of publicity on it. But I'm not sure where it's going to fit in the line. I think it's going to fit somewhere between potentially like either a Cadet replacement or somewhere between the Cadet and the KO3. It looks like that's going to be kind of the middle system. Like so the Pioneer and the Blitz are kind of like the entry levels. The Cadet's kind of like the medium, and the KO3 is like their super. And I think this one's going to be more middle ground, but it looks pretty cool. I've not seen everything on it yet, so I can't really give details, but that should be coming at some point. And they just got back from holiday, so hopefully I'll hear some information from them.
The great thing about them is everything that they go to, their newer models are always engineered better where they thought about stuff. It seems to always get better. Dragoon, I appreciate it, buddy. I'm only 15 minutes. I'm literally a 15-minute drive to the border.
That's because they take input from customers and people like me and people like who are serious about it that are asking for, hey, it'd be great if this were to work, or if I didn't like this and or they look at their issues and, hey, did we have problems with parts for this, and they upgrade and they change. They're evolving. They're a great manufacturing company.
Paul's got a trade for you. You see it? Are you waiting for it to come up?
I see it now. Paul, if I don't have like that
Mother
kind of,
Russia thanks you, Kyle.
I don't have like I don't have like a discount code where I can just go buy it at whatever. So
what are TS Profs Russian or Yugoslavian? I forget. Or Ukrainian?
They're Russian.
Okay, they are Russian.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mother Russia does thank you, as Paul Might says.
Paul, I appreciate that. The company the people that I've dealt with there are super nice people. Very friendly, very excited for their brand, and also very interested in the U.S. knife sharpening market. I was told by not only them, but by the other company I work with, Poltava, that the U.S. market is by far the biggest that they have, and that they've been growing so fast over here that it's hard to keep up at times.
And to continue to engineer, they could have stopped at the Blitz and probably sold a ton, but they're wanting to always get better and make things, kind of make their own products obsolete, which you've got to appreciate that. It's like they've got a passion for it
Yeah, they
more than
definitely
just
do.
cranking them out.
Well, and it's so like it's really easy. And I'm not gonna like point fingers in it, but it's really easy to create a system and be one and done. And this is our system. This is what we do, and that's what we offer. Versus offering levels to it, like where you have your entry level, like your blitz and your pioneers, and then your medium level for the next person up, and then your professional level for the KO3. And they have a very good mindset when it comes to offering different products for different price points and still maintaining quality at all different price points. But you definitely see an increase in quality as you go up the line, as you should for the price.
Has Todd Carr's question populated for you yet, or do you want me to read it to you?
I got it now. Todd, I've messed around with the buddies. I've not actually like owned one. I looked at them hard originally before I bought my cadet, and I just didn't like the magnetic table system that they use on a lot of them. They're starting to get into clamps more now, but they were there for a while. They were using that magnetic table system, and I didn't care for it. And then the new one came out, which was like their budget one, which was kind of cool, the RS. But then
Yeah, I've got the RS pulled up here. I don't have it showing.
the issue with that is at the top, the way that the guide rod attaches is via a magnetic ball. So if you go too far or move it too fast or too hard, that ball can pop off. So I
This
don't
one up
like.
here right here, what looks like a marble.
Yeah,
So that's magnetic. That's not an actual thing that goes through it like the
correct.
ooh. I mean, it looks nice and it is less expensive. The base system without stones is $199, but it doesn't look to me. It looks steel, where the other ones look more nasty. I don't know why.
I mean, they're he didn't have that one. He had another one, but I mean, it was pretty well built, not to the
It
exact
looks
same
like
level.
the R2.
Yeah, the R2 was, I think that's the one he had. That was well built, but again, at that price point, I'd rather just go with this personally. But
Because this is no stones, just a basic.
yeah,
This is Gritomatic site, a retailer site. So if we go to PS Prof, I think all they've got is the Blitz Pro left.
yeah, I mean, it's different things for different people, and that's cool and all, but
Yeah, exactly.
it
And you can sharpen with
it gives people, yeah, I mean, it works. It gives people options. I mean, like the KME, I give them credit. It's cool because it's supposedly made here and all that stuff. I don't know, but I don't care for it. But I give them
no
props
one
for
can
doing
do
it. It just depends on what you want, and sometimes you pay for what you get, and I think that's truly the case with a lot of these systems. Is
And I think I could be wrong, but if you spend the time with even a lesser system and you're not sharpening a lot, you can probably get really good with that system to where you can do a great edge.
yeah,
If you're
it
gonna
takes
have
time,
sharpening be
proficiency.
part of your hobby, kind of like I moved up in the type of knives I like to carry. I liked having a nicer system because to me that was part of the hobby for me was clamping in my knife, setting it up, and then starting to sharpen it. Right? I mean that I would kill 30 minutes a knife with that, and I've got 4-inch stones. That was one of the bigger mistakes I made when I got my TS Prof is I kept my 4-inch stones for my Wicked Edge, or not my Wicked Edge, my Work Sharp.
Yeah.
So I don't even use
So,
6-inch stones.
like, what I would say is for someone who is wants to get in at that price point, and they're looking at like the Worksharp Pro is like 250 or whatever, it it will work, and you can get proficient at it. It's probably a little simpler to use out of the box, but if you're willing to spend some time in practice, spend the extra $100 and get the Pioneer, and it's way better build quality. And you'll appreciate it long term more than, because these aren't things that you're going to turn around and buy and sell and swap like a U-Knives. It's not the market for it. And if you do, they typically, depends on what it is.
You take a
Most of them,
battery, you end up giving them away. Usually,
yeah, most of them do. Like the TS Profs are probably hold the value the best out of any system, but just because they're well made. But like most of them, like you're going to get half or less of what you paid for it, and it's not worth it. I mean, at that point. So, thoughts on Wicked Edge? No offense to anybody who has one, but they are shit. The whole entire system, the way it's designed, is flawed.
Because your right and your left arm have to do their own. They have to be perfectly consistent. It would seem to me for you to be able to keep an even bevel, right? Or do the rods automatically keep it from going?
It keeps it aligned, but the issue is you're going both sides at one time, so you're not creating. The whole point is you're trying to get that scratch pattern even and create that burr, and then flip it from the other side over. Now you're creating it at the same time. You're not truly apexing it properly. And again, the difference. Now they're finally starting to use some aftermarket things where you can use other stones, because before it was all proprietary, and their stones were not that great, and they were severely overpriced. So I would steer clear. They're overpriced, and there's way better things out there for the money than what they do. And I think the system itself was flawed in how it's designed. But hey, each their own.
Yeah, and Edgy, you got good with it because you knew what its tolerances were. But again, it takes more time, I think, to get good with a Lansky system because it's got more play in between the rods and the rod holder. Because I played with one for a while. And for me, I was never talented, but the TS Prof, even the Work Sharp with the stone holder, I did fine on, except I was never adjusting my height for my stone. So I was always screwing up my bevels anyway.
So and I don't want people to take that the wrong way, what I was saying. I'm not discounting. If you only get one system that's cheaper, that's fine. Get as good as you can with what you've got. If you want to spend the money and get a better quality system that'll last you a longer time, then you have to pay for that. But it's just a matter of where your priorities are and where your finances are. And that's completely cool. Like you do you. But if you wanted to get a better experience, then it costs more, and that's just something you're going to have to pay for. So,
and I'm not at all aware of a Wicked Edge, Paul. But Paul says you don't have to do both sides at once.
You can, but it that kind of goes against the principle of. I mean, you can do one side.
Of why you would get it, because
the whole marketing scheme was you can see down the bevel, and you're doing it half as fast because you're doing both sides at the same time. So.
Todd, that's funny.
I don't.
Hey guys, said Stevie goes live in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to get a little rage out, and then I'm going to tell y'all, look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. See y'all over at said Stevie. And remember, choose debate, not hate. You got to hate, do it on a trail. Love y'all.